is amazing. I was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Water.
It's motorsport, but not as you know it. Test yourself and your everyday road car. Safe, affordable, but most of all, fun. And all you need is your daily driver. Experience the thrill of a sprint day. Race against the clock at a hill climb. Or test your reflexes with an auto test. It takes just 3 simple steps to get started. Get on the start line. Search Motorsport Australia Daily Driver today.
This is amazing. I was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Water.
For the first time here for season 3. Davis on pole, Vanderkrant in second. It's going to be sprint round action here tonight. Let's go racing here at Daytona. It was a good start there from Davis in comparison to Vanderkrant in behind. Cowan's absolutely bogged it up and already dropped out of the top 3 here as they come down towards turn 1 for the first time. There's biffing and barging between Gallen and Cowan. These guys are still going at it after last season. They survived for this time by though. Through turn 2 and 3 they come. Nice and clean, boys. Keep it up as they come up to...
I love riding. It's a real social thing. There's a great bond between riders.
Every weekend I look forward to getting out there. It's a freedom like no other.
Riding to work is a great way to start the day.
Shannons insure all types of road bikes, not just classics. They offer features riders really want. It's why they're one of Australia's leading motorcycle insurance providers.
Whatever you ride, whatever you ride,
Whatever you ride,
ride with Shannons.
Call 134646 for a quote.
Through turn 1, it was a horrible start from De Bono, who's absolutely bogged it up and gets eaten alive by Dixon and Gowans as they come on through. Through turn 1 they come, and they all spread out around in towards the first sector of the Silverstone circuit. They look all right at the moment. Okay, there's already been a car spun round. That's Jordan Ferguson offline.
Is green at Road Atlanta here as well. Faulkner did get away. De Bono is tucked in as well. Unfortunately, Houghton is on that outside line. De Bono does want to turn it to turns. He's got the job. De Bono's overtaken. Now can he get Ben Faulkner up through turns for 2 and 3? They go round the right-hander, dropping down the hill. Faulkner's out in front. De Bono second. Houghton third. Ratcliffe in fourth. No real dramas going into turn 1.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannons,
We've also got Shannon's home and contents cover.
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be
Shannon's.
Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 134646 for a quote.
amazing. It was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Sam Noble wants to snip on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because I'll tell you what, Bruce Tanak and Jamie Dyson just absolutely drove away from us. Hayden trying to go around the outside. This is where he could have just sent it up the inside, but he hasn't committed, which is fair enough. It's very scary out there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we get a good run. Dodd's just absolutely competitive. Really nice move. Blake Delaney had to move out of the way.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to SRWtv. And welcome into the Coolamassa Super Formula Championship here live for round 1 of season 4 out at Road Atlanta. I'll be commentating here tonight, Hamish Munro, bringing you all the action through sight and sound. Alongside me, as always, Brad Hudson. Hutto, a big season ahead after a massive season 3, with Gallo ready to defend his title tooth and nail to the very end of this season, and with challenges aplenty. How are they going to go out there this season and tonight?
Yeah, good evening, Hamish. A new day, a new dawn, a new season. Yes, a lot of return drivers. Like you said, David Gallo backing up his performance from last season, perhaps. A lot of tough competition out there we can see already early on tonight. So fingers crossed for a fantastic race.
Mate, it should be a heck of a race and a heck of a season ahead of us as well. 9 rounds this season, of course, the same as last season. Top 20 will go through. They will hopefully compete in the Australian Open Wheel Nationals as we try and get everything solidified for that. But Road Atlanta, what a challenge it is. The pork chop, as I call it, and I hope everyone starts to call it that too. It's a hell of a challenge. I mean, tight turn 1, you'll have cars trying to go too wide. Some will end up in the grass, some will end up in the wall. Then the run up the hill up towards the S's and then down towards turn 5 where we could see some carnage. The double right for 6 and 7. And then the long run down the back straight up towards the Formula D section of 10A and 10B. There's a couple of spots around here which can cause some chaos and controversy for us, but also some fantastic passing opportunities, which should all come together and, if the arithmetic's correct, should give us a phenomenal race tonight.
Yeah, this track is very technical. Like, as soon as they go through that S section, a lot of drivers coming unstuck and having to be very wary of the curbs on the left and right of that little S section, as well as getting right down to that chicane just before we come onto that sweeping right-hander onto the main straight. So this track does lend itself to a lot of tight racing and a lot of having to keep a close eye on your competitors in front of you.
Well, we've got a big season ahead, Hutto, of course. Many fantastic circuits on the way for us this season. Starting here at Road Atlanta, we then get into what is quite a few weeks of F1 Shadow rounds across the season. Next week, the next F1 Shadow round at Coda. Then we head out to Road America, then to Interlagos as well for round 4, Navarra for round 5, VIR, Watkins Glen, Jerez, and then Daytona. So it's a very US-heavy calendar with a couple of, Brazilian or Spanish tracks thrown in as well. So it should be a great season here with a lot of tracks that will test these drivers, but should lead to us having some phenomenal racing.
Yeah, like you touched on the shadow rounds, there's quite a few tracks which we'll be able to see the guys replicate their skills, the same as the F1 drivers in real life. I guess, with our little cars here. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this season. A lot of tracks that have a close place in my heart. I quite enjoy racing on them, and there's quite a few that I'm really looking forward to. I really can't wait for Interlagos.
Interlagos, which unfortunately you won't be here for, so you won't even get to experience it to its full extent. But is that the one you're looking forward to the most this season, or is there another one that catches your eye a little bit more, possibly?
Oh, I do love Watkins Glen. Jerez is also brilliant. That triple right-hander before you get onto that little straight before the hairpin onto the main straight. That triple right-hander, it's so good to see the guys just like going hammer and tongs around that right-hander, but it's sometimes a certain death. Like if you go too wide, it's a very hairy moment. It's kind of hang on to your seats, but it's still very entertaining racing.
Well, I think aside from it being our finale, I'm really looking forward to Daytona, not just because of the night race factor, but how these cars go around that track and how these drivers go around that track. Plenty of them, if they have sports car experience, should have experience around there in racing around that circuit. A lot of races happen there, including some 24-hour races and others as well. So it should be a great opportunity for us to go racing at the end of the season. And what a way, or what a curtain raiser to the end, or a curtain dropper at the end of this season and the end of 2024 for us to go racing at that track before we head out to the AOWN the week after. So it's going to be a fantastic season. Qualifying is about to get underway. Way too early prediction time. Hutto, who's your favourite for the championships across Pro, Pro-Am and Am this season?
Oh, okay. You put me under the pump already.
Of course.
I think we're going to have a repeat winner. So it could be a David Gallo. It could be a Daniel Byrne. Actually, I might just go David Gallo. Nice safe bet. He won last season. He was consistent. I think he'll do it again and make it 2 in a row. For the Pro-Ams, I think we're going to get a first-time winner on that. Well, most guys are first-time winners. Otherwise, they'd be in Pro, right? So... there's no name. Look, Tyler Sheaf did very well last season. He was running pretty good in practice as well, like good timings, and I think he's going to put in the effort again and he'll be towards the top. So maybe a bit of redemption for Tyler Sheaf there. And with the AMs, a bit of a different field to look at this season. A few guys have made that jump from AM to Pro-Am despite not actually winning the championship. They're racing, a few guys are racing well above the rest of the AM field. So my early prediction, I'll go Dean Sinkovich. I think SRW are finally going to bring home the bacon.
Oh, I love it. I've been calling out for Dean Sinkovich to win something for a long time, but this season I'm not going to do it because I feel like I always put the Moz on him, and then it ends up going wrong. You'll notice as well tonight, we didn't get to do it last time we were on track as Cowie ends up off the road. We have got the live camera feed inside the rig with Cowie, who has now been dropped down to amateur class, Hutto, and I don't know, I have a feeling that Cowie could be a sneaky pick for the AMs this season, but I'm actually going to put my eggs in the basket of the same driver I picked for the AMs in the supercars. I reckon Josh King's actually going to do the double this season. The AMs in the supercars and the AMs in the SFLs as well. He's got something about him. If he can put on a ripper season, a complete season behind him, he could be on for something special this season with a couple of trophies to his name as well. So I'm going to say Josh King for the AMs. I think for the Pro-Ams, I do like your pick of Tyler Sheaf. I think he ran a very consistent season last season. But so did the likes of, Tesoriero and others as well. It is a very velocity racing team heavy Pro-Am field, so you could probably pick one of those drivers and be pretty lucky at getting a champion. I'm going to go, a bit of an outside edge, I'm going to go Nathan Verney for the Pro-Ams this season. I feel like maybe if he can get a bit more consistent, Hutto, he could have a bit like Josh King, he could just have a breakthrough season. The pros, the pros are a bit of a throw a coin in the mix and hope you land it, right? I mean, it's nearly everyone is able to win that title, but I think Season 4 he's no longer going to be the bridesmaid. I think he'll finally be the bride. I think Dylan DeBono will finally win this season.
Ooh, That's an interesting one. So with our little predictions, all of a sudden we've put the knocker on the SRW drivers. We've both picked one each for the AM class, so good on us. For the Pro-Ams, I guess I guess you said Nathan Verney, but even in saying that, like you stated just before, the VRT drivers, there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4.
There's about six of them in the Pro-Am class.
So I've inadvertently just hedged my bets and said VRT, and I think even last week when we were doing the re-recording for Detroit, I was umming and ahhing saying I had to pick someone who wasn't VRT, and then I've gone and picked Tyler Sheaf. So, yeah, not very good for me over here. But yeah, look, I've heard early whispers of Miguel Crespo as well from the Pro class.
Yep.
I've heard very, very good things from him from other drivers throughout the season or in the series. So we'll have to keep an eye on him as well. But I do think it's going to be one of our mainstays that's going to claim the title this season.
Yeah, I agree. I think having the history within this series, or actually being a veteran of this series, I think will actually I think it's harder for a driver to come in fresh, not know how the whole field races, to try and beat them can be very, very difficult across a whole season. So I think some of our veterans, some of our long-term drivers are going to be the main contenders. I don't mind the pick of David Gallo. I think he has been arguably the best driver of 2024 in terms of SFLs. I mean, right now he's proving it already, going pole position. I was going to mention Tony Baker probably has been misclassed here a little bit, Cutto, because he was up in P3 but the times have gotten faster and faster, and he's actually dropping further and further down the order. So that thought kind of goes out of my mind now. But there's so many contenders, as there always is in the pro class. You can argue that 95% of them are championship favourites, and as I mentioned, you throw a coin at the hat and hope it lands. It's any of them could win, and it's going to be dependent on if they number one, if they can get a whole season together, if they can show up for every single round, but also if they can run consistent races and not need an extra poor round on top of a drop round as well.
Well, in saying that, I'm just looking through the our pro field. Most of them are race winners as well, Hamish. So it's not like these guys are not familiar to winning, or there's one driver dominating. Like the I guess not the dominance, but there's a lack of dominance throughout the field that we're currently seeing. There's no one driver that we think is just going to keep, getting that win after win after win. So, look, you said you could, toss the coin and see where it lands. It's hard to call so early on. We've got a long season, another 9 weeks ahead of us. But I'm more or less just looking to see how this race goes tonight and how it all pans out throughout this season. Bring it on.
Well, we only had one correct prediction last season. That was when we predicted Scott Pocock to win a race. If I look in the pro field, I mean, there's obviously the returning Adrian Loretti, who's a little bit off the pace tonight, but there's not many first-time winners in there that we could have this season. I mean, Miguel Crespo or Ben Brook. I think
Catakazinos. One just yet. So, look, there's a lot of drivers just on the cusp. Like, the cards need to fall their way. Like we've seen upsets, we've seen domination throughout our time up here in the Combox. So, look, do we get all? That's the thing. Do we get a first-time winner tonight, Hamish?
I think the stats say no, based on how many pros are out there and how many of the pros have actually won a race. I want to pose a question to you, Hutto. This season, across the whole season, do we get a non-pro winner at some point?
No, I don't think so. I think the pro class is too tight and too good that they will edge all the other classes out for that top spot. Yourself, Hamish?
I agree. I don't... There's not many out there that I think could properly challenge for a win outside of maybe a Matt Gerard or... I think it would have to be, and looking at the calendar result, there's nothing that really offers too much chaos. We don't have a Long Beach, we don't have a Chicago, we don't have, one of those real heavy chaos tracks on the calendar. At the end of this race, I could be eating my words, and we could have a Pro-Am winner tonight. But I don't know. There's no one in that Pro-Am field, aside from Matt Gerard, who screams at me that they could win a race as an overall field. We've been close before with the likes of Nathan Verney and others, but eventually they've been caught by the pros and they've been passed. So, I don't know. I think the stars would have to align perfectly for it to happen. And I think, on an astronomical scale, I don't think it's looking likely across the next 8 weeks or so.
Interesting.
May have skirted around the question a little bit, but I don't know. It's hard to tell. And again, it's going to take not only a perfect race from a Pro-Am with unbelievable pace around the track, but they're also going to have to hope for outside incidents to happen to those pro drivers to even get them up towards the front end of the field. So that's, I think, where the struggle is going to come from in that actually occurring and being solidified for us as well. So it could happen. We've been close to it before, but I don't think it's likely. Will we get a first-time winner this season? I think we will. I think we'll get a first-time winner this season. I agree that Miguel Crespo could be a bit of an inside edge for a debut win this season. Maybe a Ben Brook, maybe a Sam Catakazinos. They're the three major winners who we haven't had. Because I believe Thomas Donohoe has won a race, hasn't he? If I'm correct.
Yeah. Ooh, I'll have to double-check the stats.
I believe he has.
No. Can't see him on the list here, actually.
Okay.
So Top View is also one of those drivers that we could see rise to the occasion.
I think most likely it's going to be Tom Donohoe, who would be a debutant winner this season, knowing the field. I don't know a lot about Crespo. I know a fair bit about Brook. I know a fair bit about Catakazinos. I think out of those three, excluding Crespo because I don't know enough about him, out of those three, Donohoe's my favourite to be a first-time winner this season.
Well, the things I've heard about Crespo is he's very, very quick. Like currently on the timing tower, he sits P19, so not a good early indicator, but I think he's going to have to find his way into the field. And if a victory does come from from Mr. Crespo, it'll be like round 4, round 5 until he's started to figure out how to race against his competitors out there.
So obviously the more obvious admission that we have tonight is there's no Phil Vella on track and no Michael Cuttajar. Michael Cuttajar was heavily rumoured to be coming back. And I'm pretty sure we know that Phil Vella will be racing this season, but there's no Phil Vella, but there is Jay Dixon.
Yes, the DFR stronghold has, seen Adrian Loretti come into the team, or I guess make his debut for DFR since moving away from Kittens and taking a bit of a hiatus. Vella's not out there tonight. I think a little bit going on in real world, so we wish him and his family all the best of luck there. But yeah, the DFR still remain a very strong option this season. Like I think we spoke about it last week and the week before. The teams that are coming through and the numbers they are coming through with, especially in the Pro and Pro-Am, that's a separate conversation. But with the pros, like we're looking at Carlins, we're looking at DFR, we're looking at Velocity, we're looking at whoever missed out there. Like there's 4 teams.
There's a lack of pace syndicate I've noticed as well.
Yes, actually, you're right, Hamish. So it'd be good to see Pace Syndicate hopefully come back. We've seen previous winners, now we had the Season 2 winner, David Roberts, and Marcus Knitska definitely racked up a few wins when he was here. So yeah, we may not see those guys return. I think Knitska's busy on Wednesday nights. He's playing a bit of soccer in the real world.
Oh, so he's got futsal, it seems, on a Wednesday, so that takes him out of it. Oh, what a shame.
Yeah, but look, the cream of the crop we have here at SRW SFLs, look, it sounds like it's going to be a 3-horse race between 3 teams. So I'm looking forward to the battles that go on, I guess, on track for those individual positions, but then also how that strategy comes into play in between those teams and how they can try and benefit and further either themselves or their teammates. So that's one thing to keep an eye on this whole season, Hamish.
Yeah, I think team play is going to be massive. It's going to be really, really important in the pro field. Now thinking about Nathan Verney winning the Pro-Ams, I kind of regret the decision, not because I don't think he's able to do it, but thinking about the statistical possibilities of VRT stopping him from making positions. Like there's 6 positions they could stop him from gaining if they were to sit in the top 6 positions in Pro-Am at any point, and that would stop him from gaining points. So plus there's 7 of them on track, including the amateur of Johnny Rowe if he was to race. So I
guess that's one thing for the Pro-Am field. Like, will we see, I guess, the outliers, their non-VRT drivers, kind of, bunched together perhaps to see if they can conquer the VRT guys? That's just very throwing it out there sort of thing.
Well, they'll know which cars are the VRT cars on track because they'll see the bright yellow Bumblebee running around and they'll be like, that's a VRT car. I want to attack them on track and,
like
try
the one
and
that's
stop
went
them.
Into the wall.
Yeah, of Tyler Sheaf.
Yeah, very good, yes. But yes, look, the Pro-Am series is actually one to watch. It's going to be interesting. Like you've said, there's 6 drivers VRT, and we have I think it's another 11 drivers in that class. And like you said, it's going to be hard if the VRT drivers really stick together and try and promote 1 or 2 drivers to win that championship. So, look, if a driver outside of VRT wins the Pro-Am championship, they've done a very good job. One, they're quicker than the guys, and they've outsmarted the VRT drivers as well.
They also take up a third of the field in Pro-Am as well, so that's going to be a tough task. Only a couple of seconds left in qualifying, Hutto. Currently, as it stands, Dylan DeBono sits provisional pole position. David Gallo is the closest man on track who could challenge him here. Whether he can get another lap in or not will be yet to answer. He's not close enough to the line, though, so they will get cut off. Dylan DeBono will be the first pole position sitter for the season here, Hutto, for sprint round action tonight. Could Omen be looking pretty good early on here if he can do the double? Because we know that he is quite good in the sprint round format.
Well, this is where we found Dylan DeBono, really, I guess, made a rise in our eyes here at SRW. I think he may have claimed the win last time we were here about 1 year ago. So, look, perhaps this is a track that he's quite familiar with and he's put the time in. So we could see good things from Dylan De Bono tonight.
We very well could. I just want to ask as well, because I see him in the field. Is Tyson McAvoy in SFLs this season? Because he is in the session in an SFL.
Well, he did.
Or is he maybe spotting?
No, there was whispers he was going to be racing. I guess probably a late entry in terms of that. Haven't seen a registration just yet. But look, perhaps he's stepping out from behind race control and he's going to try and mix it with the guys down on the track.
I haven't seen a registration. We'll see if he is out there and if he is eligible. He's in the field, so we haven't actually got him in a class yet, so we'll see if he joins the circuit or not. Starting grid, though, for race 1 here this evening will be as follows. Dylan De Bono will start pole position ahead of David Gallo in P2. Daniel Byrne and Jay Dixon will start on the second row of the grid with Scott Pocock and Benjamin Brook on the third. Doug Gowns will start P7 ahead of P1 for the Pro-Ams, his teammate Shane Ratcliffe in P8. Jason Depp and Pete Ziedler will start in P9 and P10 to make up the top 3 of the Pro-Ams and the top 10 of the field. Thomas Donohoe, Darren Fahey will start just outside the top 10. Callum Rossonita, freshly put up into Pro-Ams, freshly joining VRT, will start alongside Miguel Crespo, the debutant into the series, on the 7th row of the grid. Carlin Hodgkinson and Matt Tesseriero will start alongside each other in behind, with Tony Baker and Matt Keane out of P17 and 18. Keegan Colbell returns to the series. He'll start alongside Jamie Davis out of P20, with Tyler Sheaf and Andrew Rushworth starting in behind them. Josh King and Dean Tinkovich will make up the top 24 as we look back to Adrian Reddy, Jordan Ferguson, Nathan Verney, Andrew Cowan, Kevin Wakefield and Sean Benici making up the top 30. Johnny Rowe, Greg Johnston, Mitch Noble, none of them made up a time in qualifying. We see McAvoy there, not sure if he's racing or not. If he is, he would need to sign up, but we'll wait and see as we wait for everyone to get gridded up and we get ready to go racing for season 4 this season. Hutto, this is going to be a spicy season ahead, and everything could be on the line for these drivers this season. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I guess with the added incentive of trying to qualify for the Australian Open Wheel Nationals, which was a fantastic success at the end of last season, I'm going to see, or I expect to see, a lot of drivers like really pushing themselves to, I guess, get more points and qualify comfortably, and not leaving it to the last 1 or 2 rounds.
Well, De Bono has claimed yet another pole position here to start on the front row of the grid for the very first race of Season 4 of 2024. Lights are up. Let's go racing around Road Atlanta for race 1 of the evening. We are go. De Bono, is he dropped out? No, he hasn't. It just cut away from the grid shot for a second as we rocket down towards turn 1. De Bono and Gallo side by side for the first time through here. Do we have any chaos through turn 1? It looks pretty clean at the front of the field. Has the back end survived through there? They look like they have, Hutto, as they come through 3, 4 and down towards turn 5. Donahoe's turn around in the background. He's in the wall and he's going to drop a heap of spots and is now going to end up right at the back end of the field. Need to be careful not to get an early safety car, Hutto, as we look to settle in for the rest of lap number 1.
Well, yeah, it seems like Donahoe got a slow spin there and just kind of love tap the wall. So he's going again, and yeah, he'll be able to get himself back into the race.
So De Bono,
as we see, Tesseriero's gone around as well.
Oh, he has. That's a massive car park. It's a car park at turn 7, Hutto, is the only way to describe it pretty much. Cars everywhere. And the freshly promoted Matt Tesseriero is all of a sudden down at the back of the field and without a front wing. I think Pocock's gone round as well. He's off at turn 10. What is happening here? We go on holiday for a week and everyone starts to lose their minds a little bit, Hutto. I mean, what is happening?
Yeah, I guess it's just those race 1 jitters, creeping in, bit of nervousness, brand new season. So I think, guys are just going to have to get, a few laps under the belt and they'll start settling the rhythm and the race will start to develop from there. But in saying that, we have a race 2 coming up in about 20 minutes' time. So we'll see how everyone reacts to that one as well.
We do indeed. Tyson McAvoy's on track and he's racing. So we need to decide what class he's in, Hutto. What class are we going to put him in?
I think he'd be a Pro-Am.
Okay, let's put him into Pro-Am then. Maybe we missed his sign-up at some point. Who knows?
Oh, another car off in the background there. Was that Cowie? Cowie just running on the grass just quickly. But yeah, it looks like most of the fields seem to get away somewhat okay. And looking like that draft down the back straight's proving quite handy right now, as we see Benjamin Brook in the inset. Darren Fay trying to get past Benjamin Brook, and also seeing Peter Zeidler go past Shane Ratcliffe in the foreground there as well. So look, I think a lot of opportunity is going to come from that back straight going into the chicane, the 10A and 10B, Hamish. So yeah, keep an eye on that one throughout the race.
Yeah, hopefully we don't get too much Formula drifting through there. Hopefully it's all Formula, Super Formula Light action. On board now with Jason Depp on the big screen. He has Tony Baker a bit further behind him in the battle with Callan Hodgkinson and Darren Fahey at the moment. So there's battles in this mid-pack, and it looks like it's some nice, tidy battling at the moment.
It's quite tight there through those S's as well, Hamish. Like, you saw Tony Baker, he almost had a sniff up the inside of Darren Fay, and then Tony Baker was just forced to go a little bit wide, and then he got his pants pulled down by Callan Hodgkinson, who now sits in P12. So drivers have to be, I guess, on their wits when trying to make a pass through those S's anyway.
So lap 3.5 minutes into this race, about to be lap 4. Currently as it stands, Dylan DeBono leads to David Gallo and Jay Dixon for the top 3. Top 3 in the Pro-Am field has just changed slightly. Pete Zeidler now leads to Jason Depp and Shane Ratcliffe. For the amateurs, they're a little bit spread out here as Tony Baker leads to Dean Singovich and Johnny Rowe for the top 3 of the amateur field, as Callan Hodgson and Callum Rosanita are tightly contested. We know that the old Callan-Callum battle has been on for quite a long time, and normally when they start alongside each other on the grid, they both work together to make their way further up the way, I should say. And they've actually had some good runs. Oh, is that Nathan Verney?
Oh, Nathan Verney, that front left tyre.
That car
that'll be a safety car.
Oh, for sure. That thing is destroyed. What has happened to Verney down there? So inside line. He had McAvoy on his outside. Oh, my God.
Oh.
That was huge. That was either, I think that was Ferguson. Or no, it might have been Rowe.
Rowe.
Yeah.
Rowe's limping around the back here in P29.
Wow. So let's just break this down just a little bit here, because we expect a safety car to get called. So I'm board with him now. So he's trying to go for an inside line. Oh, and you can't even really see very much out of that, really.
Yeah, you probably have to jump on board with Johnny Rowe and have a look at that one. But looked like just a slight bit of contact, and unfortunately at that high speed, it just puts him straight into the wall.
Oh, he just moved over slightly. Maybe a little bit of net code involved. Not 100% sure, but Race Control will break that down and have a proper look at it, and they'll come back with some answers. But he's still parked on that main straight there, Hutto, and I reckon we might have a safety car very shortly.
Me too. Yeah, safety car's out on track. The pack will bunch back up, and we'll go racing again in a couple of minutes' time. But how about that crash for a season opener? That one slammed into the wall, Hamish.
That was absolutely diabolical, Hutto. It was huge. Absolutely huge. On board, we've got Cowie rocking around up towards the back end of the pack as well. So he's had a tough start in this race. Couple of off tracks early on, but he looks to be running nice and smooth at the moment here, and we'll see how well he does throughout this race, Hutto. But I'm expecting big things from Cowie now, part of the amateur field.
Yeah, well, he fared, I'll say, okay. He probably didn't have the performance he wanted, nor did we see those points reflected on how well his driving could have been. So I think AM class is probably going to give him a bit of a springboard in confidence, to be honest, because he's got the pace, he just doesn't have the consistency there at the moment. And the more time he races inside the SFL, the better he's going to get. So, and like you said, we both picked SRW drivers for the championship. Cowie, if he can put it together, just have a few consistent races, or have a lot of consistent races, he'd be right at the top there as well, Hamish.
He would be. I've just realised we're able to actually mimic the camera angle that he's got on his car with the actual car as well, looking over his shoulder a little bit. So we'll keep track of him throughout the night. We'll see how he does, and we'll return to this camera angle week in and week out if we can, whenever he races, just to see how he's getting on out there before we'll see if he returns next season to the comms booth with us. But safety car already pulled away. It looks like it has.
Early safety car is away. Oh, still kind of going quite slow. Didn't hear anything over the intercom, so perhaps we are ready to go racing again.
Or De Bono's just holding them back, maybe?
Nah, the safety car would have sped away by then. No, we're going for another lap.
Yeah.
And I guess, is there anyone that's jumping out at you early, Hamish? Have we seen any big gainers or any big losers so far?
Well, if we look up towards the top 10, we've got Tony Baker, who's currently up quite a few spots. I believe he's up
and doing very well.
Yeah, he's up. What's his official gain? He's up six
positions.
He's up six at the moment. Mitch Noble's up 15. McAvoy's up about 11 as well. So those guys have gained quite a few. But yeah, up towards the top 10, Baker's definitely the biggest mover thus far. There's been no change in the top two between De Bono and Gallo. It's really going to come down to, I think, the De Bono factor of if he can keep the race completely clean for himself. It has cost him in the past, which, what a story it would be if he were to finally put all the puzzle pieces together and come up with a completed championship run. That would be awesome. Pete Ziegler's coming to pit lane. So for an early pit stop, which you wouldn't expect them to need one in this race, Hutto, that might cost him if he thinks that they need a pit stop.
No, I was just on board with that one. It looked like he'd just come in to repair a little bit of damage.
Okay.
He's currently just sitting at the exit of pit lane, and unfortunately he'll have to rejoin at the back of the field. Yeah, probably not the race that Ziegler wanted this evening, but look, there's another race coming up in a few minutes' time, so he'll be looking to make amends in race 2.
Yeah, he'll try and maximise on what he's done previously. I noticed Keegan Caldwell's had a incident as well through all of that. What was it? I think it might have just been him pulling it up. It was just him pulling it up at the back straight, so it wasn't anything major for Mr. Caldwell. As De Bono will lead them away once we go green. Oh, what's looking like a bit of an outside edge to you at the moment, Hutto? Because there's a couple of big gainers out there. Depp's leading the Pro-Am. Baker's leading the Am. Is there anyone that looks like we could see a not-so-cookie-cutter race, or are we thinking it's going to be a bit more cookie-cutter than maybe we're letting on?
My prediction, Tony Baker will start on pole for race 2.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. The outside edge.
I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see a little bit of argy-bargy in the top 10, and Tony Baker will just be able to hold his nerve and yeah, bring it home in 10th, get some good points, and start on pole for race 2. That's my pick. The
safety car appears to have pulled away from the field. Should be going green this lap. We've got a couple of chats out there tonight. Mark Cochran out there giving his love to Andrew Rushworth. Adam Hughes saying RC already got bulk calls in. We already under the pump, so that means we are a goated team tonight. He then followed up with saying, I wish Hutto would pay attention. Or pay me attention. And then as De Bono's already gone green nice and early here at the restart of the race, Jackal's also out there saying, I'll hopefully be back next week. Decided not to risk the broken pedal. As we are green running once again, Hutto, and De Bono's looking to try and extend this gap that he's already pushed out to 1.4 seconds by going nice and early and catching David Gallo napping a little bit there.
Yeah, I guess De Bono's got a fantastic jump. Oh, Jay Dixon almost goes round. Oh, that's a tight one. He's just gone sideways on the curbs, but he done very well not to lose too many spots there, or not even go off. So, look, perhaps just that safety car period has made the tyres cool down just a little bit, and they're losing a little bit of traction on those the S portion of the track. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see if any drivers come a cropper from that one.
They'll need to be careful of the curbs. Can be very, very deadly out there, especially in these cars. High speed, pushing these things to their absolute limits. On board with Doug Gowans in the bottom screen as Dixon loses the spot out to Daniel Byrne now, so he gets past him once again. This is the battle for P3 on the road. There are 4 cars in this tight battle pack of Byrne, Dixon, Gowans, and P1 for the Pro-Ams, Jason Depp of VRT with Ratcliffe behind. Rosenita's gone at the Formula Drift section. He's been spun round. What has happened with Rosenita and Brooke at the back end of the top 10? Oh, looks like he just pulled across on him.
That'll be one for race control to decipher. Yeah. We'll see where the noses are sticking or not sticking, and yeah, may see a penalty on that one. Who knows?
Oh yeah, he's kind of just turned across him there. It's unfortunate. We just did have a message up from RC. I just missed it. Let's have a quick look what it was. Car 596 drive-through penalty contact on lap 2, so that's gone to Johnny Rowe for the contact with Nathan Verney, as Brooke has now also spun it round as well, so it only goes from bad to worse for him, Hutto, and that car looks like it's not moving at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know if this will attract a safety. Oh, there we go. He's just had to wait for the field to go past, so he'll come in, get his nose sorted out, and be back out for race 2. Probably not the start our newly promoted pro wanted for this season.
It's not been a good start for the previous champions thus far. Brooke in the wars early. Tesseriero was in the wars a little bit early as well. He's down a heap of spots too, so both those former champions of last season having a poor run at the moment, but Gallo is firing on all cylinders as defending champion at the moment. Although Dylan De Bono has pushed ahead, 2.7 seconds is now the gap between him and last season's champion David Gallo, as he rockets up towards turn 5. Further back, Jay Dixon has now lost a heap of spots to Depp, Gowans and Byrne, possibly from a slight mistake. How's he lost these spots here? I think he might have just clipped the curb, maybe caught a little bit of an off track, but he's going on
2 laps in a row he's done that one, so maybe it's like a little bit too much curve and the car's becoming a bit unsettled, so yeah, Jay will have to tighten that one up and just make amends in the next race. But I'd just like to point out, Mitch Noble is like taking like a duck to water in the Pro-Am series. Didn't win the amateur championship last season, but definitely holding his own in the Pro-Ams. Currently P5 for that class, so hats off to Mitch Noble there.
He's been just pretty much straight swap for his teammate in the Pro-Am field. He's come up and his teammate went down. As Hodgkinson loses out to Matt Keane for P11 on the road as well. So there's a heap of gainers in the mid-pack. Loretti's up 11, Noble's up 19, McAvoy is up 14 at the moment. On board in the bottom screen with Byrne and Gowans getting super tight up towards turn 3-4. Oh my God, that could have ended very, very poorly. And Gowans is now on the podium with Byrne in behind and Depp chasing them down at a rate of knots. How great would it be for Jason Depp? What a confidence boost it would be. Not only for him to get this Pro-Am win tonight in race 1, but if he could also get on the overall podium as well, be a cracking way for him to start the season.
Yeah, fantastic start for even like Depp and Ratcliffe, both in P5, P6, and 1 and 2 for the Pro-Ams. Look, if they can stay where they are, it'd be big points and a huge lead going into round 2. It'd be a good confidence booster for both drivers.
Tyler Sheaf is pulled up on the side of the road of the back straight, or just after turn 5. What has happened? So this was Cowie. He had an off track previously. Ooh, that's a wild off track for Cowie, and a big hit into the wall at the exit of turn 1. And then simultaneously, this happened to Tyler Sheaf up at turn 5 as he hit the curb of death. Oh, he was trying to avoid the spinning car of Mitch Noble, and that's put him into the wall. Broken car for Sheaf, and now parked up at the side of the road. He's back in pit lane, so he's been allowed to tow back to pits, as Dixon's also dropping spots as well, Hutto. What is happening in this race?
Turn 1 is catching a lot of drivers out. A few drivers starting to go too wide, and then if a driver has to really check up because, you know, they're running out of room on the track, and if you're following close behind, so there's that third driver, a few drivers getting caught out on that one as well. So keep an eye on this S section all evening. Oh, who goes around the background? Is that Crespo, unfortunately?
Yeah, Miguel Crespo, fresh into the series, is been claimed by turn 5, which has now claimed 3 drivers here tonight. Of course, Crespo, Noble and Sheafy have all been claimed to that corner, as Rosanita loses a spot now to Keegan Caldwell right ahead of him. So Caldwell returning to the series. We'll see how well he's improved ever since taking a break. As Gowans further up, P3 on the road, right ahead of he's being hunted right now by Daniel Byrne and Jason Depp down towards turn 1. Byrne trying to go for it round the outside on the run through. If these guys tangle, Depp's going to try and take advantage. Gowan somehow survives on exit up towards turn 3-4. How in the hell did they make it through without any contact, Hutto? I've got no idea.
And I applaud Jason Depp there, just staying out of it, let the two pros battle away. He'll be there to pick up the crumbs if something goes wrong. He's doing exactly what he needs to. He's got a nice little buffer back to P2 of the Pro-Am class in Shane Ratcliffe back in P7. So, yeah, very smart driving by Jason Depp there.
Yeah, it's, you know, control the controllable, Hutto. He doesn't want to give up the win or the points when he'd only be gaining 4 points if he got past both of them. He's willing just to sit there and just chill out for a moment, give up the possible 4-point gain to maintain his lead in this race for the Pro-Am field, but also just maintain actually staying in this race as well. As Gowans covers the inside line at 10A, still leads through 10B to Daniel Byrne. This is the battle for P3 on the road. Down towards turn 12 now for them. Round the final corner they come to start lap 13 of this race. 17 minutes 50 seconds in, only about 2 minutes left to go, Hutto. Have to argue 2 laps left to run. And it's being well controlled by Dylan De Bono, who is 3.3 seconds ahead of David Gallo in P2. He's also set the fast up of the race, a 1:12.94 on that last lap. And then David Gallo sits P2, 4.8 seconds on top of this battle here between Gowans, Byrne and Depp.
Yeah, hard racing for this P3 spot between Gowans and Byrne, but like you said, De Bono's just managed to skip away. If he can put it all together and bring it home, that'll be probably... De Bono will chalk up yet another win here at the SRW stable.
Yeah, we'll have to track how many wins he's had in SRW and see what he looks like on the all-time list, as Tyson McAvoy has dropped a couple of spots in the background, appears to have had a moment down at turn 5. He drops a heap of spots. As you can see, this battle between Gowans and Byrne is still on as Byrne gets the job done into the braking zone at turn 10. Continues on for P3 on the road. 1 lap left to run in race number 1 here. It is anyone's game at this point for P3 on the road. Barney's out there. Gowans is all over Daniel Byrne into turn 1. Side by side once again. Byrne gives him the position back, knowing he's going to have an opportunity down at turn 10. Has to be careful though of Depp. If he attacks him, this could cost him P4 on the road and possibly a chance at P3 as well. As they come up through turn 5, the battle is as intense as ever. On the second screen, we got Callan Hodgkinson in a battle with Adrian Loretti at the moment. Round turn 6 and 7. We got to head up to the leader because he's well ahead at the moment down towards the Formula D section. There you can see David Gallo lurking in the background off the back of Dylan De Bono. Down towards, he comes now into the braking zone. An exceptional run from De Bono. Even off a race restart, he's managed to survive at the front of the field. Never gave up the lead of this race. It's been a perfect run for him round the final corner. And Dylan De Bono wins race 1 of season 4 of 2024 with David Gallo home in P2. A solid chunk of points for the defending champion. Daniel Byrne is going to survive the Doug Gowans onslaught to make an a Carlin's double podium here in race 1. Gowans P4, Depp comes home P1 for the Pro-Am, P5 on the road. Fahey in behind. Shane Ratcliffe will make up second position for the Pro-Ams. Pocock in behind him. Tony Baker into this series as an amateur this season. He will win the amateurs for race number 1. Loretti will start pole position of race 2 and was up 15 spots in this race. And if you look at that, Hutto, I reckon Loretti could be on for a win in race 2 with him starting on pole.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Hamish. Look, Loretti's done it before. He's been at the top. He's won plenty of races himself. Starting from pole, he'll have a good little lead and good margin back to the rest of the field. Could put him in, I guess, a very good position to try and take out the win. But how about that racing in race 1? Like, that battle for P3, P4 between Byrne and Gowans, that was some exceptional, clean racing. Like, it was heart and mouth moment just about every single time those two went at turn 1, turn 2, and unfortunately for Depp it didn't quite fall his way as he was there ready to pick up the pieces should those two come together. But yeah, fantastic race, Hamish.
It was a phenomenal race. Matt Keane made up the Pro-Am podium. Dean Singovich and Keegan Caldwell made up the amateur podium in the end. So Dean, with a solid chunk of points tonight for the amateurs, did drop a heap to Tony Baker, who finished inside the top 10, but he did gain on the rest of the amateur field. So He will be on for a solid chunk of points here tonight if he can have a quality race 2 and a nice clean race 2 as well.
Well, I guess we've seen some drivers put their hand up as to who's going to be a contender and who's a pretender early on. Look, Tony Baker looks strong for that AM class. I really hope he can bring it home in race 2 with that fantastic performance in race 1. And I expect a few of the AMs will really start to kind of hit their straps, perhaps in the later races in the season, as opposed to trying to win out and out in round 1.
So that was De Bono's 16th win. Does he get to 20 by the end of the season?
Look, if he's your tip to win the championship, I have no doubt he'll claim number 20 this season. But look, like we said before, there's a lot of good drivers in this pro field. Any one of them could take away the victory. And actually, in race 2, I wouldn't be surprised if Loretti gets the win here, if he's been marched up the front with the reverse grid. So, but yeah, to answer your first point, De Bono, will he get 20? I don't think he will.
There's a lot of races that he can win to do it. I mean, there's quite a few sprint rounds this season.
We've got, 5 sprint rounds and 4 regular races? Look, there's still a lot of racing ahead of us.
So that's 14 races that he could possibly win this season. He only needs to win 4 more. He's already won 1 of them. He only needs to win 4 out of the next 13 races across the next 8 rounds, and he'll be there.
Look, he wins, 24% of the time, or 25% of the time.
Yeah.
So winning a quarter of those races, it definitely could happen. The statistics would say that he's due a couple more wins this season. So yeah, you might be right there, Hamish.
Well, I suppose as well then, what we could also kind of point out is I think the reason I think De Bono can win it this season is if he gets into the season he hasn't won the title, he'll look back at 2024 and he'll think not only what could have been, but it may even be looked at as a wasted year for him in SFLs if he can't get at least 1 championship out of the 4 seasons that he's run. He arguably should have won season 1, but a mistake at
Catalunya.
Catalunya. No, that was season 2.
Sorry,
that was season
Indianapolis.
2. Yeah, Indianapolis.
He,
so a mistake a mistake at Indianapolis cost him. Season 2, arguably both missing a race to watch the State of Origin, which was his choice. That's fair enough. He missed Montreal, which was incredibly chaotic, and he could have ended up dropping that round anyway if he'd been caught up in some poor moments. But arguably, what lost him that season was Laguna Seca. More so than anything. More so than Catalunya. I think Laguna Seca actually lost him that title.
Was that a out in front leading in a self-spin, was
Yep.
Mm.
At the bottom of the hill.
I really hope he solves that issue.
I hope so.
Whether it's a lack of concentration or nerves, I really hope his team can get there and be there for him and try and get him over the line. Like you said, he's been the bridesmaid so many times. So to see him being on that top step overall at the end of the season, it would almost not be poetic, but it would just seem comfortable. It'd seem right, almost.
I think out of everyone who's ever not won a pro title, he's arguably the most deserving person to never win it.
Or deserving, or most likely, or be surprising in terms of. I'm surprised De Bono hasn't won a title because he's such a good racer.
You look at the list of pros who've never won the championship, and you think, there's no way De Bono's on that list. He should be on the former champions list, but he just isn't. Which we both agree that we think he deserves a title. He obviously has to earn it.
He's just got to do it. That's the thing. He's got to turn up and be consistent. That's it. He's got the pace. We know that, Hamish. He's got the pace to get it done. He's just got to put it down. And he's shown us in race 1 that he's capable of doing it. So fingers crossed for him this season that he finally gets his wish.
Yeah, I think, last season he didn't put a complete season together. He wasn't here every round. Cam Harvick's in the chat actually as well from Velocity. It's going to be a huge season from Dylan this season. He's putting the time and effort. He'll be good. And that's what we hope for, Cam. That's exactly what we hope for from Dylan. Both myself and Hutto, we've just said we agree that he arguably deserves a title, and it would feel like a little bit of a waste to the, Dougie and Shane and Pro-Am as well. I think Dougie's yet to put that complete championship season together, Hutto, where I think Dylan has consistently put championship seasons together, but he's just either cost himself or it's been costed at the cost, at the behest of being involved in something else, and that's what's cost him.
I think the difference between Dougie and DeBono is speed. DeBono's got him for pace. Dougie is consistent, but DeBono has the pace. If you could merge those two drivers together, you're talking another.
You're talking to Phil Vella. Yeah, you're talking to Phil Vella, like 100%. They both are. If you were to split Phil Vella into two drivers, you would get Dylan DeBono and Doug Gowans, arguably. So, they just need to be able to pick a little bit off each other, and they'd both be up there, just rocketing up the front week in and week out. There are some rounds that they struggle, but there are some rounds that they absolutely dominate. Could it be another case tonight? We'll have to wait and find out here in race 2. The starting grid for this race will be as follows. Adrian Loretti will start on the front row of the grid in pole position ahead of Tony Baker out of P2. He'll start P1 for the AMs. Scott Pocock, Shane Ratcliffe will start P3 and P4. Ratcliffe will start P1 for the Pro-Ams with Fahey and Depp in behind them. Doug Gowans, Daniel Byrne will start P7 and P8 with David Gallo and Dylan DeBono making up the reverse top 10. The rest of the field will start how they finished race 1. Matt Keane, Callan Hodgkinson, with Jay Dixon, Dean Singovich, Miguel Crespo making up the top 15. Keegan Caldwell, Josh King, Pete Ziedler, Kevin Wakefield, Matt Tesseriero will make up the top 20 with Sean Benici, Andrew Rushworth, Greg Johnson and Thomas Donahoe making up the top 24 spots. Ben Brook, Tyson McAvoy, Callum Rossanita, Nathan Verney, Tyler Sheaf and Andrew Cowan to make up the top 30 with Jordan Ferguson, Mitch Noble, Johnny Rowe and Jamie Davis making up the 34-car grid we have out here tonight, Hutto, and what a cracking way to set up race 2 here. Loretti on pole in the return race. Baker on pole as a freshly demoted amateur, trying to prove that he should be a Pro-Am this season. Could be a lot of things to think about from an admin perspective on whether he's been correctly situated across the next 3 rounds, Hutto.
Well, that's the beauty of it. We will sit down at the end of round 3, review the entire field and make sure that, or hopefully we've got the drivers in the correct classes. But like early days for Tony Baker, perhaps this is a track that he just clicks with, and the car and track's just really gelling with him tonight. But I also just like to point over as well. VRT are 1-0 up on the rest of the Pro-Am field with Jason Depp getting the bickies for the Pro-Ams in that race.
Yep, and luckily for him as well, he only drops 1 position in class for the start grid of this race, seeing as Matt Keane was P11 in the last race, so he only drops the 1 spot below Shane Ratcliffe in terms of Pro-Ams, but will start behind Darren Fahey this race in P6 on the road. So could be on for another solid race here between Depp. Could we be seeing early championship contenders battling it out already between Ratcliffe and Depp this season? Quite possibly. We know Ratcliffe is a strong driver. He has been hindered somewhat with some mistakes in the past. He's a little bit like the DeBono of the Pro-Ams, so it'll be tough for him, but lights are going to go up. We're going to go racing for race number 2 here at Road Atlanta. Who's going to get the jump down towards turn 1, Loretti or Baker? We are go for race number 2 as they rocket down towards turn number 1. They all spread out like flies as they try and find a pathway through on the way up towards the top of the hill for 3 and 4. As they come round, hopefully they can keep it clean through this section. Such a tough area on the track. Could see a lot of chaos here tonight. Pocock as well. Could he pull off a miracle and get himself another win here in the pro field and on an overall perspective as well, Hutto? He could be a dark horse tonight. We know he's got pace.
Yeah, Pocock, he's definitely been there all season last season and racing for Pork Hunt Motorsport this season.
Yep,
so
no longer a Red Rocket racer. Yep, no longer a Red Rocket racer. I believe that's Pete Ziedler's team, if I'm not mistaken. So he has a teammate out there now.
Well, good to see 2 races out there for Porkies, and we'll see how that one develops.
Yep, hopefully they can bring home the bacon at the end of this season.
Literally bringing home the bacon.
Just a nice little pig reference for you there. Jason Depp has already gotten past Shane Ratcliffe on the start of this race as Gowans is hunting down the front of the field here. Could he be a smoky for a win here tonight to make it a Velocity SimLabs double here for round 1? Pocock has taken the lead of this race to end out lap 1 here, and I've seen in the background Ben Brook has been involved in an incident here, Hutto. We'll quickly get the replay happening for everyone to see what's happened to last season's Pro-Am champion.
Was he just touched the grass, perhaps, or a slow spin?
Oh,
Just on the gas, a little bit too early by the looks of things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, unfortunate there for Benny Brock.
Continue on, hopefully looking to improve as this race progresses. It's a longer race, of course, 40 minutes. Plenty of time to make a comeback. Should see a pit stop at some point in this race, as well as Baker's gone round. That's also taking Gowans.
Well.
Yeah, Gowans is out as well.
What if that was a sympathy spin or just a light bit of contact there? Unfortunate for Dougie there, but I've seen a few outliers already make a few positions. Dylan DeBono making no time up to P6 already. P5 correction.
Well, we know that Dougie is very sympathetic. We saw it. Yeah, so Deb had to go off track to avoid. Oh, there was contact. There was contact between Baker and Gowans there. That's what actually sent Gowans round. So he was trying to avoid, but just wasn't. Was a little bit too close as Baker came back off the track. Front of the field, though, Pocock leads to Adrian Loretti and Darren Fahey. Jason Depp sits P4 on the road with Dylan DeBono, Daniel Byrne, Matt Keane, David Gallo, Shane Ratcliffe, Jay Dixon making up the top 10. At the moment, that's Jason Depp!
Just takes that Daniel Byrne. Ooh.
My. What a start to race 2. Doing very well just to hold his car in position. He's not moving it at all. Putting the onus on the whole field to avoid him. So what's he done? This looks to be a bit of a self-inflicted spin at the top of the hill. Oh, a bit of curb. Big tank slapper. He held brakes, which was good. Very lucky not to get collected on the way through. Wow.
Knuckle moment for all drivers. Jason Depp, you're just absolutely praying not to get smashed there. And every driver, it's just like all of a sudden there's a car facing the other way. Oh, fantastic driving by all drivers there to avoid a big collision there.
They did very, very well. Not only from Depp to try and save the car from the spin, get it stopped on the road, but also for everyone else to take the evasive action. You definitely want to be in the car with them if there's a bingle on the M1. They will take evasive action to heart, and they'll just try and save the car as best they can. At the moment, the race is being led by Scott Pocock, Adrian Loretti, Darren Fahey for the top 3. Matt Keane leads the Pro-Ams to Shane Ratcliffe, Cullen Hodgkinson. Keegan Colbelt leads the AMs to Dean Sinkovich and Josh King at the moment. So, Sinker, who was your pick for the title, could be on here for a good solid chunk of points here tonight, Hutto. King, who was my pick for the title in the AMs, could also be on for a solid chunk of points here in race 2 with more points on the line in this race.
Keeping an eye on Dylan DeBono, your pick as well, making early moves and make his way back up the pack very quickly. So I think he's on for a very good night tonight, DeBono.
Yeah, he looks to be right here and just at home in Road Atlanta. So he's absolutely loving it out there. Couple more chats out there. I think we've had Sinker chime in on the SRW chat saying great driver Pocock. Scotty Pocock is phenomenal. Very underrated. Took his first win last season here in SFLs. He's on the rise this season. You watch him. And Matty Gerard out there with us as well. So great to have you with us, Matty. Hope you're enjoying the action. Hope to see you on track soon with us once again. As well as Byrne leads this battle pack around the final corner. Keane is under all sorts of pressure here from Gallo and Dixon in behind. So we have both the angles coming off this one. And just, we're getting some great racing so early on in this season, Hutto. We could be on for one spectacular season here, possibly the closest we've ever had. I mean, last season's going to be tough to beat with 5 cars in the championship battle for the pros at the end of the season. But, wow, what a season we could have as Tyler Sheaf has gone off the road at the S's. So more mistakes from the VRT boys at that corner. Could that cost him a title this season if it becomes an apparent issue across the whole season?
Well, I think the VRT boys will be out there practicing week in, week out, so I expect them to take out at least 1 or 2 of the podium positions. But right now we have Matty Keane leading the pack for the Pro-Ams and Shane Ratcliffe from VSL. So, look, it's early days. VRT are currently not featuring on the podium for the Pro-Ams, but look, there's still a lot of racing, 8 rounds ahead of us, and Tyler will be keen to make amends in the future races coming ahead.
Oh, Matty Gerard in the chat. Sadly, can only make a few races this season. Call me a wild card that throws a spanner in the works for some Pro-Ams. We love to see it, don't we, Hutto? We love a bit of a spanner in the works. Could completely flip it on its head at any point this season when Matty Gerard races.
Well, Matty Gerard, he's got the pace. Like, he could be a pro. He just needs to compete every single week. But, you know, unfortunately, life commitments, that sort of thing. But look, he could probably definitely help Katakazinos and Gowans and Tabono as well for the VSL team, Velocity Sim Labs. So I wouldn't rule him out, but probably going to be a major team player for some of those pro drivers.
Yeah, I'd say he'll be a major team player for them. We saw him supporting Sheafy last season as well in his hopes to winning the Pro-Am title as well. So we could see that happening, and I know that that's an inter-velocity sort of partnership between Gerard and Sheafy, but you know, they're mates. He's willing to give him a hand when he needs to if he's fighting for a title, and we may see that again if Sheafy's back up there. As at the moment, we've got a nice battle happening here for P2 in the amateur field. A bit of inter-SRW battle between Josh King and Dean Singovich. New colours on their cars this season, been a little bit more refined this season. No more Shannons on the side of the car. And the SRW and the Warren Brown tools rocking around on those things. You'll notice that Josh has the silver on the side, Dean has the red, and when we see Mitch Noble, he has the black on the air intakes on the side of the car. Who won AM Heat 1? That was Tony Baker, wasn't it, Hutto?
Yes, it was. Yeah, finished P9 because he started on the front row.
So it was Baker, Dean Singovich, and Keegan Caldwell were the top three in AM's last race. But Baker had a significant amount over Dean. I think it was something like 5 positions or something over Dean. So
substantial.
Yeah, it was a good chunk of points. About 10 or so points he gained over Dean in that race. But that's
Kevy.
Wakefield. Oh, no.
Kevy. He's one of my favourites. I love him. He turns up each week. He puts in. He doesn't get the results each time, but he puts in.
Greggy Johnston's just done a sympathy off track for him as well at the same corner. Oh no.
Shout out to the old dudes.
Oh, the
Good on
old
you,
dudes
fellas.
hanging out together. Greggy came up on my recommended friends the other day on Facebook as well, and he just looks like a really nice guy. So props to Greggy Johnston there. That has given Jordan Ferguson and Thomas Donahoe some free positions now after that's happened. Mitch Noble currently sits P8 in the Pro-Ams, P19 on the road at this stage. The top 3 in the AMs are very tightly contested at the moment. Hutto, as Tony Baker has spun it round at turn 11. Very lucky they're not to have many cars coming in behind him, but unfortunately, this is where Dougie Gowans is. He's back in P31 at this point in the race.
It's not an ideal start for Dougie, but like I've said, early days, and he won't be too upset. Well, might be upset about this performance, but he won't be too upset overall. He knows there's a lot of racing ahead of him. He's proven himself time and time again, and he came second in the Australian Open Wheel Nationals. So Dougie's got it in himself to get back towards the front throughout the season. And yeah, I think this one will just be perhaps even his drop round.
Quite possibly, but tough to take the drop round so early in the season as Greg Johnston's had a spin at turn 7, 2 laps in a row. Hutto, he's had a moment here. Very lucky not to have hit the wall though, but he is just trying to get this thing turned around on track and not impede anyone else's race as Donahoe up the inside of Ferguson at 10A, 10B. There's action aplenty tonight. I mean, what more could you ask for out of round 1? It's definitely not been a boring race thus far for race 1 and race 2.
Well, I don't know how much strategy is going to come into this race, Hamish. So the drivers will get anywhere between 22 to 24 minutes. Oh, who's that that's just gone wide and tumbling back? Or is that another driver just letting a lot of the field pass? But yeah, the drivers will be able to, I guess, get into a rhythm, and they'll have to decide when they want to pit. So if it is around the 22-minute mark, it's a smaller window than what they would have liked. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if anyone does go for the undercut. But saying that toe down the back straight is so powerful. If you're not in a toe, you'd probably look to pit early. But if you're inside that toe and, be able to stay with the driver ahead of you, you'd stay out for as long as possible.
Well, apparently Cowie passed his team boss, Tyson McAvoy, but Tyson's back past him. So a bit of an inter-team battle happening here from PSR at the position of P24 and P25 on the road. Cowie's having a pretty solid run in this race, Hutto. Hasn't really been caught up in too much, but he's trying to make up for what happened in race 1 at this point. So he is really, coming off the back foot a little bit here in this race.
Yeah, I guess he had that early excursion onto the grass, and you know, he'll just be turning laps, and the more he races, the more he practices, he'll get better and better at this car, no doubt. So I actually expect him to do quite well this season in the amateur class.
I hope he will. I hope he will. I hope he will do well this season. It's been a long time coming for Cowie to get a solid season under his belt. That's Kevin Wakefield, who's been spun round at turn 1, Hutto. So a moment has happened for him. Husey in the chat, RC has confirmed a goated team tonight. We already confirmed it, Husey, because you actually showed up on time. Oh, that's a wild ride for Kevin Wakefield. Very lucky, Hutto, not to catch anyone else out in his own little moment.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to let the other car pass. Like, you know, no need to battle for that position sort of thing. Let him pass, but he's just run marginally wide and upset the car. So, unfortunate there for Kevy.
Yeah, he's done well just to pull it up and a bit like what happened with Depp, just not get hit by anyone else on track. And look at this. Unfortunate for Jason. Oh, no, that's not even Jason Depp who was there. Who's ahead of them? Is it Johnny Rowe? It is Johnny Rowe. So, unfortunately for Jason Depp, he's actually already gone a lap down on the leaders now, as well as Keegan Caldwell's had a moment. Where's that happened? That's at turn 12.
What sort of spins out there tonight, Hamish?
Oh my God, that was nearly an atrocious rejoin. Oh. Very, very lucky. And then he nearly gets collected by one of the heads of RC, Tyson McAvoy, on the way through as well.
Oh, imagine the smack on the back of the hand he would have got had that something happened. Oh.
Who was he with? I think. Oh, was there contact there with Ferguson?
Looked like he might have gone a little bit sideways at the at the top of the hill there. So, interesting one. Race control will review that.
It's not even Ferguson. Who was it? I think it might have been. Was it Johnny Rowe? No, it wasn't. Oh, I know it was. It was Rosanita. So hang on. So we'll quickly set this up so we can actually get a proper look at it. So we'll go roll bar on Keegan, but we know we need to be on Rosanita. So you'll see Keegan on the outside. So does he? Oh, he just tucked across on him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a blind corner, that one too. Like, if you're used to running your normal line and then all of a sudden you're running too wide, you can be a bit unsure of yourself as to where to run, because you come over that crest, you cannot see the track, and all of a sudden it sweeps down and to the right. So probably a scary moment for both drivers, and probably lucky that both drivers didn't come off a lot worse.
Look at this. How ironic is this, though? Benjamin Brook, who was promoted last season after winning the Pro-Am title, is currently sitting behind his championship cohort, Tyler Sheaf, of last season on track. How bittersweet would this be for Sheafy right now?
I'd still prefer a championship over a little result at round 1, to be honest, Hamish.
That's true. Very, very good point, Hutto. But for the Pro-Am field, it is currently being led here by Shane Ratcliffe, Matt Keane, Pete Ziedler, and Callan Hodgkinson make up the top 4. All 4 of them are in alignments in the timing tower at the moment. So they're all together as Loretti is battling it out here on the second screen with David Gallo. Oh, it is getting quite tight across the field, including at the front end with Pocock, Fahey, and DeBona here. The top 3 are now separated by less than a second, Hutto.
Some tight racing, and I was just on board watching this little bit of a Kittens reunion, the litter of sorts. And yeah, Loretti still finding his shoes back into the Super Formula Light. It's nice to have him back, but I guess, yeah, no match for Byrne and Gallo, who I guess just slowly but surely picked him off, worked away at him, and got past Loretti without any hesitation, really.
I wonder if he's got the claws out tonight.
I get it. Claws, Kittens, get it.
Yeah, like how they're a litter.
We move on.
Swiftly and upwards, we move on. Scott Pocock, though, leads the way at the moment. He's done a very good job ever since he's taken the lead. What's the pit strategy for the night? We did mention it before. It's around about 22 to 27 minutes, I think you said, Hutto, wasn't it?
Yeah, 22 to 24 minutes. So we won't quite see the pit window open just yet. We're at the 15-minute mark. So look.
What's happened to him? Oh my God! Oh my God!
Oh, they're the ones you hate.
Oh my God! What has happened to Dean? Oh no! Has he gone Beyblade? Let it rip at turn 7.
Slow spin.
Oh, he has.
Yeah,
yes.
slow spin. And then.
So he over-rotated. He then goes to fix it, over-rotates, and bang!
Oh. Who's that got
That's
collected
Jordan
there?
Ferguson. So that'll be a penalty most likely in Dean's against Dean for that one for rejoining unsafely and not holding brakes. So that's a shame, but this could be yet another safety car here, Hutto, because that car is parked in a very innocuous position as Dylan De Bono has taken the lead of this race.
Yeah, I wish we kind of paid more attention to that one, to be honest. But
We'll
look,
get the replay happening of it, don't worry.
Yeah, but look, De Bono's been red hot tonight. Like I said, he made the early moves. He was up to P6 early. He's just slowly but surely, he's putting in the laps, and he's just mowing down this field tonight. So he would be ruining if there's a safety car right now.
He would. He really, really would. So this is how he got past as he looks to be coming into pit lane, I think, as he came up to turn 11. So this is how he got past Fahey down towards turn 6. So rocketed past him. Yeah, leaders are in. So you would have to argue it is safety car city at the moment. And he had Pocock ahead of him, so I'm going to assume he got past him down at turn 10. Thanks to the toe. He did indeed. So down the inside line came through De Bono and took the lead of the race through 10A and 10B. So he did a very, very good job to get that job done at that point in the race. So De Bono's in. Mitch Noble has stayed out at this point.
I just heard Cowie call for a tow as well, I think, Hamish.
What has happened to Cowie? Where is he? Oh, yes, he's had a moment. So what's happened to Cowie here? Oh, was that a mechanical failure? Or was his wheel already bent?
That was weird, wasn't it?
So what's happened to Cowie? So
hits the inside. That looks all right. Oh,
yeah, that's like a wheel failure.
Yeah, it's like it's just kept turning right and he couldn't turn left. We'll have to inquire with Mr. Cowan after the race. Very unfortunate for him.
Very, very unfortunate for him, and I'm sure he doesn't look very happy waiting on the side of the road, waiting for his tow. So we will check back in with him later if he rejoins the track with us here tonight. But that's a shame. He's only had one race where he hasn't needed to come into pit lane for an incident, Hutto. That was the F1 shadow round in between. Unfortunate that he couldn't get up here tonight.
And I hate to point out, Mitch Noble has not come into pit just yet. He's been caught behind the leaders and the safety car, so that's pretty much game over for Mitch Noble there for the newly promoted Pro-Am. Look, he's got the pace. He's mixing it with the rest of the Pro-Ams, so I look forward to seeing how Mitch performs. But yeah, unfortunately, he's just been caught up behind the safety car, and that's when he eventually does have to pit, that's going to put him way down the pack.
I said, so Kaz just told us in the chat, I've had a couple of glitches tonight, weird ones, contact with invisible cars. So maybe there's been people out there driving around in the Shadow Realm, Hutto, and that's what's caught him out.
That's odd.
That's a weird one.
Odd.
Well, Hutto, at this point in the race, what's the prediction? Halfway through, De Bono's in the lead after chasing down the whole of the top 10. Fahey in behind, Pocock as well.
Yeah, I think De Bono's going to race away with this one. He was strong in race 1. He's fought his way all the way to the front for race 2. Yeah, I think he's easily the early favourite, as we see Mitch Noble just duck into the pit just now. As for the Pro-Ams, I guess who have we got our contenders? Ratcliffe, Keane and Zeidler.
And Hodgkinson.
And Hodgkinson. All
and Vernie as well. He's right there too.
Yeah, just behind Miguel Crespo in P12. So, look, it's definitely not over for the Pro-Ams. Nice little cluster of those guys. And then, where are we in the AM field? Caldwell, King, Baker, Wakefield. Look, Tony Baker was quick. He had that early incident for this race, and I reckon we'll see him fight his way towards the front. And for the Pro-Ams, I reckon we might see Matt Keane be on the top step.
Pulled over?
I just heard him over the radio. That was odd.
Has he had a mechanical failure himself? Oh, was he already bent steering? So he's just pulled it over. Possibly a mechanical issue. I know he's been having some problems with his pedals recently. He's towed back to pits, so that might be Sheafy's night done and dusted. He's in the chat, FYI, hey, Michelle, I was busy jamming NASCAR truck officials races. That's why I was late. Not an excuse.
Yeah,
should have done an earlier session.
There's quite a bit of chatter on the radio out there tonight, Hamish. A few drivers calling in and a few, I guess, gremlins creeping in as well. I wonder if the storms in Queensland have anything to do with it, because Cowie's in Queensland, Tyler's in Queensland as well, so...
No, Sheafy's not.
Isn't he?
No.
Was he Victorian?
Yeah, he's in Geelong.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, there goes that theory.
Nope, that ruined that one. Maybe it's a full moon tonight, Hutto. Who knows?
You should have just said yes.
It's all right. Well, I mean, you know, Geelong is the Queensland of Victoria. It's full of weirdos.
Well, we see a few wave rounds going ahead just now. Who's getting wave rounds in the pack? Who's that?
That would be, I believe, Johnny Rowe getting his wave around.
Lucky for him, he went down. He went down very early, Johnny Rowe.
He did indeed. Had contact with another driver at some point, I'm pretty sure. Can't remember who it was now. Cowie in the chat, car dead. See you all next week for another Crash Fest, lol. Thanks for racing this week, Cowie. We look forward to seeing how you do next week. Hopefully a little bit better for you out at where are we, Coda next week. That should be a little bit better, a bit more open.
That's a tough circuit, though.
Yeah, it's tough.
I think a few of our circuits in the early days all have those the S's, like Road Atlanta. Coda definitely has it after the first hairpin there. And then we go to Road America for round 3. That
has no S's.
No, it's got
it
that
has
big
the carousel.
It
has the carousel.
Yeah,
and the kink as well. The kink as well on the back part of the circuit before Canada Corner and Thunder Valley. Yeah. That's going to be tough.
Yeah, that triple right-hander. That can bring a few drivers unstuck as well if they're not careful.
It could.
Just with throttle control, really, as they go around that.
Interlagos doesn't have the S's, but it has the infield.
That windy part.
Yep.
Look, I've seen the forecast for that one, and it could be a little bit wet for that one. So
yeah, they might need some grooves in their tyres. Might be pulling the Dremels out in pit lane, maybe.
There'll be some difficult conditions for the drivers, but I'm sure there'll be entertaining racing no less. And
we got Aragon. We got Navarra the week after, so that's. We
haven't been there before, Hamish.
No, we haven't.
Navarra will be a place where we make our debut. It should be an exciting track for all. You know, no one has really raced there yet, and we haven't seen anything. Or I haven't been there before. Hamish, so looking forward to that one. VIR has a SS section. Watkins Glen, personal favourite of mine. I think that'll be a fantastic race.
Got the bus stop, so that'll be hectic. As
I
always.
I don't think we're racing with the bus stop, just to negate a few little corners.
I actually, just quietly, I actually prefer the bus stop? No, I prefer it without the bus stop, if I'm honest. So, not everyone agrees with me, but I actually think it's a lot more fun to race there without the bus stop, because you limit the amount of crashes you can possibly have, because there's always crashes through the bus stop, and it makes the right-hander afterwards a little bit harder, because you actually have to brake around that corner. It can set up a passing opportunity as well, where you can pass safely compared to the bus stop, where you kind of have to send it. So I actually prefer it without the bus stop personally, but I know there's drivers out there and viewers out there who prefer the bus stop, and that's fine as well. But I'm a non-bus stop preference.
Well, we've got the draft in these cars. You've seen how overpowered they are when they get behind another driver, so why not utilise it? Give them a nice long straight into that looping right-hander at Watkins Glen. And then round 8 we move into Jerez, like we spoke about before, that triple right-hander of the Moto layout. Yep. Personal favourite of mine. And then Daytona with a bunch of fireworks and some drafting all the way to the finish line. So
and another bus stop, which could lead to carnage. So... it's going to be tough, as De Bono has gone green at the same point he did in race 1, Hutto, through 10A and 10B. But this time, though, Fahey has stayed with him off the restart. But what a cracking season we have ahead of us, Hutto. What a way to start it. Very American heavy this season, but I reckon we've picked majority of the best of the bunch for the US tracks that we haven't run this year already. So I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, early spin by
Fahey!
Oh, no, good.
Oh my God! What is in the water tonight in Atlanta?
Well, he's done okay. He seems to be going again. He's just pulled off to the side. Yeah, he'll get going again. He'll be filthy himself for that one, unfortunately.
That's given De Bono one hell of a lifeline right now. One hell of a lifeline. 13.5 minutes to go, and he's now got a 2-second lead over Daniel Byrne. He's out of tow range already.
But, like, that's the thing. P2, P3 are fighting. P4, P5 are fighting. P6, like Jay Dixon's, like, right up on them. Look at that train, Hamish. Look at that train. But DeBono's going to skip away. He's be cheering right now that that's happened.
Well, if these guys have it coming together, this could be a mammoth moment in this race. Car 024. Oh, my God. Just quickly as well.
the beneficiary.
Oh, how have they survived through there? Car 024. Dean Sinkich was given a drive-through penalty. Failure to hold brakes. That was the contact with Ferguson at turn 7 on lap 13. So as we suspected, Hutto, penalty has been handed out to Dean Singovich, unfortunately taking him out of contention for the podium here tonight, as David Gallo and Scott Pocock have gone off the road. What is happening? And that's Keane off as well.
Yeah, that'll be... Hopefully that isn't another safety car, but look, I can't see it not happening if the cars are still off track there.
So that was the self-spin of Fahey on the restart.
He pulls it up.
He did well. Did very, very well. Then this was Pocock off track. Oh, this was earlier in the piece. This was when him and Gallo went off, sorry. A little bit later round. So they were side by side. Oh!
Slight contact, and they both end up in the wall.
Yeah. Keane with a sim, yeah.
Off track by Keane.
Thanks, Matt.
But yeah, both those drivers have been allowed to tow, and just in the spirit of racing, race controls deemed it, yeah, get off track and let's get back to racing, guys.
Wow, wowee. So that has now changed the landscape just a little bit here. Top 4 cars are they're the only pros before P9 on the road. So the top 4 cars made up of the pros. The next 4 is the Pro-Ams. Then it's P9, 10, 11 of the pros of Miguel Crespo, Jamie Davis, Thomas Donahoe. Then McAvoy for the Pro-Ams, Brook for the pros, Benici for the Pro-Am, and then Keegan Caldwell leads the amateurs at the moment in P15 on the road. So a nice little mixture, but what a chaos-filled race this has been, Hutto. Across both races, to be fair, but this one has been off chops thus far. I mean, the drivers are out there for blood, it seems.
And a lot of good movers there. So Jamie Davis up 24 positions, Nathan Verney up 20 positions as well. So fantastic races by those gentlemen.
They've done incredibly well thus far. And with less than halfway to go in this race, just about 10 minutes to go, Dylan DeBono is leading by 6 seconds over Daniel Byrne at the moment. Adrian Loretti in behind. If there is a safety car in this final 10 minutes, DeBono will be spitting at himself if this happens, because that could cost him the win if Byrne is going to be all over him like a bad smell.
Yeah, it's the last thing DeBono needs is a safety car, and I guess it's probably, he'd be breathing a sigh of relief that another safety car wasn't called after that incident at Turn 1 involving a few of those drivers there. So yeah, he's got a very healthy lead back to Byrne now. What's that, a 6.5 second lead?
Yeah.
Look, let's just hope DeBono keeps it on track this time and brings home win number 2 for the season.
I saw Matt Keane was just over the radio then. Any word on what he was saying out there in that one?
No, I'll have to double back and have a look, but yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one, Hamish.
Just noticed that Tyson McAvoy is running an Audi livery on his car, and that's what the PSR car is based on. I didn't even notice it before, but he's currently sitting P11 on the road, up 15 spots, just outside the top 10. Keane was in behind Tony Baker, so he was talking. No, might be talking about maybe King and Tesseriero in behind him. Tesseriero's had a good comeback in this race. He's only 1 spot now below where he started, as his teammate Jason Depp is just trying to pick up the pieces of a broken race. At this point, after spinning early on, he's down 15 spots from where he started. So after a tremendous race 1, this has been a race to forget for Jason Depp here in race 2.
On board, just looking back through the footage of Matty Keane, I wonder if he was calling out. There might have been a little bit of contact in the rear for him. So yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that one.
Very interesting. Hopefully that will get sorted by RC. But Matt at the moment sits just ahead of this battle here. He's in P19 at the moment. There's Dougie Gowans, who's made it all the way back up to P16 on the road, getting past Keegan Caldwell. makes it easy for him, or maybe not actually. He's willing to go side by side.
Tries to go round the outside, but not quite. Keegan definitely taking it to the pro here.
Battle is on, and look at this Pro-Am battle. Hodgkinson, P3, trying to chase down Ziedler. He's got Vernian behind him. Davis is lurking a bit further back as well, so the battle is on here for P5 on the road as Ratcliffe drops a spot to Ziedler, who now leads the Pro-Am field as they come round turn 12. 8 minutes to go in this race. It's anyone's game for the Pro-Ams inside the top 10 as they go side by side. No. Backs out of it does Ratcliffe for turn 1. Smart play at this point in the race.
Oh, just
Ferguson's had an
the radio. There was a Jordan Ferguson.
Yeah, what's happened to Ferguson here? Off track. So Johnston's dived up the inside. Oh, he didn't even know he was there. What? That's again another one where. So on board with him. So Johnston dives up the inside. Yeah, look at that. It's just at the last minute. He's right there.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be one for race control to unpack for sure. Must feel like Christmas. They're unpacking just a heap of presents from these drivers here tonight. Is RC. So
tell you what, this race is throwing up a bit of everything for us tonight, Hamish. Like everyone we've picked, bar De Bono, we're seeing, you know, our favourites come up or our little predictions, and they just seem to fall to the wayside. And you know, I think this season's going to toss up a few curveballs. We're going to have our picks and probably be wrong on 99% of them again.
What I think will be what I think we need to remember as well is it's very early in the season, and we will never really have a full view of what could possibly happen at the end of this season until probably halfway through. We probably won't know until after Interlagos or after
Navarra, perhaps.
Yeah, Navarra, perhaps.
VIR.
Yeah, like who's in your contention? Yeah,
because that's the thing. Like Interlagos will be a tricky race for the drivers, and Navarra, I guess, a new track for us all. So they'll probably prove a bit of a handful for the drivers, and by that stage, we should have a good grasp as to who is going to do it. But in saying that, we've seen. Oh, who's in the background?
That was Rosanita. So VRT dropping by the wayside in this race, Hutto.
Well, you've got 6 of them to choose from.
That's
you think
true.
one of them could win the race?
No
I'll
pressure.
give it to them. VRT versus the world. Let's go.
As Caldwell and Gowans continue to battle here. But Caldwell's trying to run away now from Tony Baker, who is lurking in the background. 5 minutes, 20 seconds left in this race. Lap 25. It's all being led by Dylan De Bono by 7 1/4 seconds over Daniel Byrne at the moment. Jay Dixon then sits P3 with his teammate Adrian Loretti hot on his tail. And the battle for the Pro-Ams is on between Ziedler, Hodgkinson and Ratcliffe. They've got Davison behind them with Verney and McAvoy making up the top 10.
Yeah, it looks like Ziedler's just trying to check out a little bit. He's got that lead over to about 2 seconds, really putting pressure on Loretti. But another surprise pack at McAvoy, having gone, you know, from towards the rear of the pack and just making his way up the field. But again, he'll be one that will need that consistency throughout the season to really make an impact on this championship.
He'll be hoping for a solid season under his belt. Ziedler has now gotten past Loretti. He's got a battle happening here with himself and Dixon as well. But this battle with Baker and Caldwell for the amateur win is on, and Gowans is going to try and help. He's going to try and help Baker, or try and help Caldwell, against Baker. He tried to give him the toe, covered the inside line. Baker's been tapped by Caldwell. Spun round at turn 10.
If you're Josh King, you'd be hoping Race Control review that one very, very quickly.
You would be, because that could get you a race win here in this one. So let's just quickly unpack for a moment. So we'll quickly watch here from the view as Tyson McAvoy's gone off track as well. So this is on board with Caldwell. Look at that little tap, spins him round.
Only the slightest of taps down. Probably.
That's right.
Just having to check up just that slight bit, and maybe the drivers weren't too prepared for that one. So, yeah, we'll see how Race Control favours that one.
I think that might possibly be That might hand Josh King the win if he's able to hold it together here. This was McAvoy's off track. Up at turn 2. Oh, big slide. Lucky not to hit the wall, it seems. Holds brakes at the top. Yep. Oh, look at that. Look at that self-spin. What a wonderful... That was an incredible self-spin there from at the top of the hill. He did incredibly well not to actually take up too much surface area on the track to get that spin done. That was a great job by Tyson there.
Why he's so good at spinning around on the spot, though? You're gonna have to wonder.
Well, he's done it in the. He's crossed curbs in the safety car before, so he's pretty good at getting a car out of a spin. As Colwell's in the pit lane, so you'd have to argue a penalty has been applied to his name if he were to come in at this point, which has now promoted Josh King to the lead of the amateur field here in race number 2. 2.5 minutes to go, Hutto. Probably 2 laps when De Bono crosses the line.
I know with a very healthy lead back to Daniel Byrne and Jay Dixon. Was he checked out to almost 9 seconds now? So, yeah, smooth sailing up the front for Dylan De Bono.
And hopefully he can hold it together for the next 2 laps of this race. It's not long for him until he gets there. Ziedler has a nice and healthy lead over Callan Hodgkinson, 2.4 seconds for the Pro-Ams. Hodgkinson, though, has Jamie Davis hot on his heels with Shane Ratcliffe as well. You'll notice that Davis has just popped off screen because he was going for the move down the inside at turn 10A into 10B, side by side. Davis gets it done. Ratcliffe trying to take advantage around the outside. Round turn 11 and 12, they come now. They're still side by side. They've somehow survived on the way through, but look at the strategy from Hodgkinson here on the back of Davis to get the toe down the straight to hopefully get the run on Ratcliffe, and he does. Well, that is phenomenal strategy when battling in amongst a pack.
How good is that toe down the back straight? So overpowered, but it's allowing a lot of overtaking opportunities, and a lot of drivers in those back 2 turns, turn 6 and turn 7, just kind of holding off on making that overtake, so they're not the lead driver going into turn 10 down the back into that chicane.
It was a great play from them as Ziedler is now on the back of Adrian Loretti here. He leads for the Pro-Ams at the moment. We're going to have 1 lap to go when this man, Dylan De Bono, crosses the line. We have got under a minute left, so this should be white flag for race number 2 here. And it looks like Dylan De Bono is going to start this season to absolute perfection by trying to get the dirty double in the first sprint race here of the season, Hutter. And you could not ask for a better way to start at the season. Pole position, win in race 1 and then a win in race 2. This will get him fired up and absolutely eyes forward at the title at the end of this season.
Well, I wonder if he's got the fastest lap to boot. That almost be a grand slam for him.
Oh,
Fantastic performance.
He had it in race 1, and he looks like he's got it in race 2. He's the only driver to actually do a 12 at this point in race 2. So,
oh, that's handy. An extra 5 points for the fastest lap.
He's done very, very well. So he's getting all the bonus points here that he possibly could. He comes down towards the Formula D section down at 10A and 10B. Oh, he's having a blink though. Oh, wouldn't your heart break if he were to disconnect right now? Final lap, round turn 10A. Up through 10B comes Dylan De Bono. Round turn 11. He's done the dirty double here in round 1 of the season. Dylan De Bono takes the win in race 2, just like he did in race 1, but this time by 11 seconds over Daniel Byrne in P2, with Jay Dixon closely in behind for P3. Pete Ziedler will take home race 2 victory for the Pro-Ams ahead of Adrian Loretti in P5. Callan Hodgkinson will come home P2 for the Pro-Ams, with Jamie Davis just in behind him. Shane Ratcliffe will make up the Pro-Am podium. Nathan Verney, Ben Brook will make up the top 10. Miguel Crespo, Doug Gowans, Thomas Donahoe makes up the top 13 cars, with Matt Tessariero and Sean Benici for the top 6 in the Pro-Am's top 15 on the road. And Josh King takes out the amateur win in race 2 here tonight, P16 on the road with Wakefield, and it seems Caldwell on the podium. And look at all of those VRT cars coming across the line together. Wow, wowee. What a race. What a round 1. On to round 2, Hutto. What a way to start this championship.
If that's just a taste of what we have in store for the rest of the season, this season is going to be delicious.
I'm licking my lips already. Mouth is watering, licking my lips. It is going to be a tasty season ahead of us. DeBono's trying to get a burnout done, but he's picking up some grass on the way through as well. But wow, what a race! What a start to the season. We got a heap of people to chat to.
Well, did that race pan out the way you expected, Hamish? Look, for me, it was very entertaining. There were spins, there were overtakes. Look, I think that was a fantastic way to open up the season, to be honest.
I think, as a whole, it was a little bit unpredictable in terms of the amount of chaos that we got and some of the drivers that were taken out across the piece, but I think the result is not that surprising. DeBono taking the win, King taking the AM win, Ziedler taking the Pro-Am is a little bit surprising to me, but I think that comes with the chaos as well. So, you know, I think it wasn't cookie cutter for sure. It wasn't cookie cutter, but it was... I think it was as I expected. If you told me that this is how it was going to turn out, I would have agreed with you. Do I think the season's going to be like this? Oh, God, I hope so, because it was an incredible race, and some of the tracks that we're going to, if we have this level of carnage and chaos and controversy, we're going to be on for some all-timers throughout this season. And with some of these track choices as well, it's going to make some tracks that you might look at and think, on paper it's boring, maybe Coda or VIR, it's all of a sudden going to make them incredibly special and incredibly spectacular as well. And I'm excited for those possibilities, because if we get a race like this at Coda, all of a sudden Coda's on the top of my list as one of my favorite tracks, because it either offers boring racing or it offers fantastic racing when you get chaos, controversy and safety cars involved.
Yeah, definitely a few surprise results out there, Hamish. But look, I think there'll be a lot of drivers taking away a few notes from round one, and a lot of guys licking their wounds really, or thinking what could have been. Because a lot of self spins out there tonight, a few little prangs, unfortunately. But it's only round one. It's early days, and yeah, like you said, we've got a fantastic season ahead of us.
Mate, it is going to be a phenomenal season for us here tonight, and I'm really excited. I mean, let's get these boys in here. Let's chat to them and let's see what they reckon of this race and of what this season could hold for them as well.
Well, who's first off the rank? Who have we got?
It would be Mr. King for the amateurs.
It will be Mr. King, yes.
Yes. So 2 nights in a row, he takes an amateur win. So a very impressive start to this season, only furthering my prediction that he's going to win both the Tuesday and Wednesday amateur titles this season. So I'm pretty proud of that. But we'll see how this season goes. It's a long season. It's a long time for these drivers to put it, 8 weeks. So 8 more weeks is a long time for them to put a complete run together. We'll drag him in. We'll have a quick chat to him now. Oh, not Jay Dixon. We want Mr. King. Mr. Josh King. 2 nights in a row. 2 amateur wins under your belt, sir, and you are only solidifying my belief that you are going to win the Tuesday and Wednesday amateur championships for supercars and SFLs. Mate, what a start to the season you are having here. I mean, how does it feel to not only get it done last night, but tonight as well? Are you looking at tomorrow night for 8-6s and thinking, oh, I could go 3 for 3 here?
Evening, fellas. It'd be good to go 3 for 3, but probably not jinx it, eh?
we never want to jinx it for you, mate. We never want to jinx it for you. But obviously, you've been demoted down to amateur this season as your teammate Mitch Noble's been promoted up. Do you feel it's been a fair demotion, or do you think maybe you could have stuck it out in Pro-Ams for another season?
I think it's pretty fair. Mitchy deserves to be in Pro-Am, so he's got the pace to be up there. And yeah, after last season, I was pretty useless last season, so I'm happy to be in amateurs.
Very, very critical of yourself there, Josh, but nonetheless a good performance. How did you find it out there with you're in a new class? Did you have a different mindset going into tonight at all with, a new set of competitors?
I just put my head down and just tried to circulate the car and keep it clean. A couple of instances there I thought I'd binned it, and I didn't think I'd win that race.
Well, a good performance nonetheless. And I see your teammates caught up in a few instances here and there, or more or less Dean Sinkovich. Any word from those guys, or anything going on in the headsets at all between you three?
Not really. Just Mitchy had a couple incidents, and just it is what it is.
Well, mate, it has been an incredible start for you this season across both Tuesday and Wednesday nights. Hopefully you can continue this run into next week at Coda and the rest of the season as well. Let us know who helps get you out on track and anyone else you wish to give a shout out to as well. And for myself and Hutto, congratulations on winning the first feature race of the season here for the Cooler Master Super Formula Championship.
Cheers, fellas. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you boys in the broadcast team and all the boys behind the scenes getting this together. Warren Brown Tools, Ruler Master, Shannon's, Rim Industries, NeuroPower, and DSL Railway Services.
Very good, mate. I don't know if Mitch knows that he's a Pro-Am because he's come in, I think, assuming he's actually one amateur this week. So
yeah, I'll help out and let him know.
Might want to go word him up a little bit here because he's unfortunately not one amateur. You've won it this week. So, but best of luck next week at Coda, mate. We look forward to seeing how you go. And if we don't get a chance to speak to you, best of luck in the season ahead.
Cheers, fellas. Have a good one.
You too, mate. Right, Hutto, let's chat to our P1 for the Pro-Ams. P4 on the road, up 14 positions tonight. Pete Ziedler, who has Grommet as his Discord icon. I can 100% enjoy that one there, Pete. But what a start to your season here for Pork Hunt Motorsport. We have to specifically say them separately so we don't get demonetized and get the stream taken down. But, mate, how are you feeling after this race? 14 spots up, top 4 finish, and a Pro-Am win. What a start to the season you're having, sir.
Yeah, thanks. It was pretty good, but best of all, I just kind of stayed out of trouble. There was just so much carnage on track, so just keeping my head down and not hitting anyone. I came close a few times, but it was, yeah, I don't think I was quick or anything. I was just the last man standing.
Yeah, Pete, like you said, I think you even got caught up in a little bingle race one. Saw you take a bit of damage there, race one. You came into the pits under the safety car.
Yeah, I was chasing my granddad, and I just got a little spooked by him. I was just excited to be close to him, Doug, in front of me, and yeah, I bottled it, unfortunately.
That's unfortunate. And I see you've managed to recruit Scotty Pocock to your ranks at over at Porky's. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Yeah, look, he's just he's my his to, and I'm his her. So it just felt natural in the end. You know, we just came together in a perfect unity, and we thought we'd have a crack at it this time. But yeah, we were just two people left out alone, and we decided to join up.
Very good. I feel like a lot of family unity here coming from Mr. Seidler. You've talked about your grandfather and the partnering with Scotty Pocock there. And I guess you said just before you kept it out of trouble and you want so much quick. You were definitely taking it to the pros towards the end there. I guess it looks like you've put in the work early on in this season. And how do you, or what's your plans going forward for the rest of the season?
Yeah, to be honest, I think I recorded about 400 laps practice for this. So I really took it seriously to try to get there. I don't think it's any natural talent. I just really drilled myself to be quick here. And the draft is really strong. I wasn't particularly fast again. It was just, especially when you catch two cars, it's just you really, really catch up to them quick. And if you're smart about it and you stay out of trouble, you make your way forward.
And it turns out if you put in 400 laps, you also get a good result. But yeah, fantastic work there, Pete.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Thanks. Can I just make a couple of shout-outs if possible?
Absolutely.
Mate, of course you can.
Thanks. Look, I want to thank Little Oak Baby Formula, for knocking my kids out tonight, getting a good sleep. The creators of Love Island, again, for keeping the wife busy and off my back. And yeah, that's it.
That's the only time we'll ever thank Love Island on this show, Pete, is when it allows drivers to go racing. So
That's it. And I do have one more. There's a very special man that sometimes I leave out, Michael Carew. He's always there for me, dark times and all. And yeah, I just want to really say thank you for being there, Michael. I appreciate you.
Very good, mate. Well, congratulations on your Pro-Am win tonight and your top 4 finish as well. Best of luck for Coda next week, and if we get a chance to speak to you again, or if we don't get a chance to speak to you again, sorry, best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for hosting. Thanks for commenting. It's all great. Thank you.
No worries, mate. Thank you. What a character, Hutto.
I think we'll be seeing him in the post-race interviews a little bit more often
I reckon we
this
will.
season. So, bit of a character. How good. Oh, let's get the next person in. Who have we got, Hamish?
Oh, another character, a man who sped off to Italy halfway through the season last season, comes back with an absolute vengeance and possibly a couple too many bottles of wine in his bag, Mr. Jay Dixon. Jay, without Phil Vella out there, it seems that you just rise straight to the top. You know, you get decanted a little bit whilst being away in Italy, and then you return and you're just firing on all cylinders, mate, with a top 3 finish and 2 cars in the top 5 alongside Adrian. Phenomenal job.
Thanks, guys. It was interesting. I wasn't expecting that kind of a result tonight based on the pre-race pace, but I don't know, just solid drive and stay out of trouble. I binned it heaps in the first race, but managed to hold it together in the second race.
Yeah, I guess, well done, Jay, on that performance. And I saw yourself battling with the Carlins Motorsport guys. I guess, how was that period of the race where you were all effectively, or not so much caught out by yourself, Loretti was a little bit way behind to really help out, but yeah, how was those couple of moments when it was essentially you versus Carlins for a couple of laps there?
It's a bit spicy. I like racing with them, though. They're both pretty fair. We've raced, for the last year or two, and we met in person at one point in time as well. So, I got all the time in the world for those guys to race with them. So, wasn't too bad from my perspective.
Yeah, good. It's what we like to see, some respectful racing. It was fantastic. And I guess another one for you, Jay. I guess you're flying the flag for DFR. You've added Loretti to the ranks. How's he settling in to the DFR on his return back to the Super Formula Lights?
Yeah, he's good. Darren and Adrian both joined up 6 months ago now, but Darren's not been racing because of the earlier start time, so he's finally decided to come and race at 8 p.m. with us. But no, he had a good race tonight. And Miguel is our new debutant tonight as well, so he's come along. This was his first race in this car, so I think he did fairly well tonight, all things considered.
Yeah, that's a very good result for first time in that car. Very, very good result. I guess for DFR drivers going forward in this championship, how do you guys see this season panning out for you, or what goals do you guys have as a team?
I've got none, really. It's going to turn up, race, have fun, and see where we end up.
Very good.
We've had a question. Has Adrian fallen asleep?
Probably.
Well, mate, you've had an exceptional run home in this race after being away for so long. Has the tan gone away yet, or have you still rocking it after being in Italy for quite a few weeks?
No, the tan disappeared within like 4 days. I think the tan disappeared before the jet lag did.
It never really even got started, did it?
No.
Mate, let us know who helps get you and DFR out on track. Anyone else you wish to give a shout out to as well? And for myself and Hutto, congratulations on your P3 on the road here tonight.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, thanks to all you guys for putting this on and organising everything, and thanks to the DFR friends and family for turning up and making it a fun event every week.
Very good, mate. We love to hear that. Best of luck for Coda next week, and if we don't get a chance to speak to you, best of luck for the season ahead.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, mate.
Hamish, I'm just quickly looking at the YouTube chat out there. We have Mr. Phil Vella saying something along the lines of, if you don't have goals, you can't fail, right? So, wise words.
Very, very wise words there from Phil Vella. Must mean he never has goals. That's why he always succeeds. But a man who has been a little bit, he's been a little bit up and down this season, or this past year, really, ever since winning the F1 Shadow Series last year. We bring him in now. P2 on the road here tonight for Carlins Motorsport. Daniel Byrne, driver 808. And, mate, P2 on the road tonight. Couple of chaos moments there for Mr. Gallo, obviously your teammate defending champion. But we have to ask, because we haven't spoken to you in a little while, is David number one driver now? Because he's been a little bit more successful than you have in terms of winning titles here in SRW.
Yeah, I think he's stepped up, hasn't he? I'd say he's just that little bit quicker than me now. Probably puts in a little bit more time than me, but we're still pretty close. So it's ideal to be teammates when you're that close to each other.
Very good, Daniel. And I guess for the Carlins Motorsport guys, like we regularly see you two towards the top of the ladder. Do you guys think you can take it out again? And who do you think's the driver to watch so far?
Well, looks like De Bono's got really good pace. So, you know, like each season we've been battling with him. He's really quick. So, yeah, we're definitely keeping an eye on him. The DFR guys are quick and good mates as well with us. So, we're always happy to have a good battle with them. They always keep it clean and respectful. So, yeah, I think we just aim to be consistent and try and stay out of trouble. I mean, you need to get your elbows out sometimes, but generally we try and stay out of trouble. It was a bit unfortunate. I didn't quite see what happened tonight with David and Pocock, but yeah, sometimes incidents happen.
Yeah, Daniel, you're not wrong there at all. I guess, how did the race pan out for you? And just another one I'd like to ask is, how much of a strategy was there down at turn 6 and turn 7 going into that back straight? Were you ever reserved and like just sit behind, or would you try and make that overtake as soon as possible?
It's all comes down to strategy, doesn't it? With those couple of turns on that back straight. In race 1, I was having a great battle with Dougie throughout the race. That was really good. And yeah, I knew the once the white flag was out, I wanted him to be ahead of me at turn 6 and 7, so that, because I knew if I was probably about 0.4 behind him, I'd have enough toe to actually get past him, which I managed to do, and so I just pipped him at the line there. So yeah, it all comes down to that strategy there. If you're in tow, you've got a pretty good chance of making a move.
Fantastic.
Well, Daniel, I mean, how are you feeling for this season? Are you feeling confident? Are you feeling like you could end 2024 a similar way that you ended 2023? Or, I mean, have you got any confidence left in the tank at this point? It's been a tough year for you in terms of just missing out on titles and being involved in a couple of incidents as well. But you have gotten some race wins under your belt too. But how are you feeling looking into the rest of this season? Might cut out then. Into the rest of this season compared to last year going into season 4?
Well, this result gives me confidence because I wasn't expecting anything, to be honest, tonight. So that's good. To me, it comes down to how much time I put into it. If I put in some practice ahead of time, I get better results. But yeah, the last season or two, I just haven't had the time to actually put in the time. So look, this might actually spur me on. You know, P2 and P2 in both races, it's pretty good results. So yeah, maybe I might put in a little bit more effort and see if I can keep the momentum going.
I suppose it'll come down to possibly how next week goes at Coda, and then maybe even the week after at Road America as well.
Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of Coda. So yeah, I definitely need to put in some time, get some practice under my belt there. But yeah, Road America, I love Road America. That's an awesome track. So yeah, looking forward to it. Gonna be good.
Well, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you once again. Let us know who helps get you and Carlin's Motorsport out on track. Anyone else you wish to give a shout out to as well, for myself and Hutto and the rest of the league, congratulations on your P2 here tonight in Race 1 and in Race 2 as well.
Thanks, guys. Just shout outs to Driver 808 on YouTube, which is me, Glam Raider, Little Rara, Eagers Automotive, and shout outs to Atari and Bianca.
Mate, phenomenal effort tonight. We look forward to seeing how you go at Coda next week. If for whatever reason we don't get a chance to chat to you, best of luck for the rest of the season ahead.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, mate.
See ya.
Well, Hutto, after what can only be described as dominant fashion and possibly the best way he could have ever hoped to start a championship, Dylan De Bono looks to be firing back on all cylinders here as he takes a double win at Road Atlanta. And Dylan, could you have asked for a better way to start out this season? Do you think this season's going to be the one where you finally stop being the bridesmaid and you can finally claim that championship you've so longed for?
Oh, mate, I really hope so, you know. With the last, 3 seasons, fallen short, and then the Super Formula National at Silverstone, 4 laps to go, and was an incident. I don't know. Just want this one to be the one this season, you know.
Well, I mentioned at the start of the broadcast, we were making some predictions this season. I said that I think you can do it this season. The reason I think you can, and I feel like that the the trespasses that have happened this past year will be pushing you on to try and get this done, to try and stop making try and get all those little 1%ers ticked, and actually thinking to yourself, if I end up at the end of the season without a title, 2024 almost looks like a year wasted. And actually being able to pull something out of 2024 in SRW and trying to pull a championship out of it as well. And, is that how you're pushing yourself this season? I've put the time in, try and maximize on everything I can get and try and minimize on those self-inflicted mistakes that have arguably cost you across this year?
Yeah, I think I took some time to reflect after the Nationals at Silverstone. I thought to myself, I just seemed to be making lots of mistakes around other cars, so I took the time to just find those couple more tenths so I can pull away from them when they're behind me and just minimise the pressure a little bit. And I know it's only the first round, but yeah, just hoping that all helps out.
Yeah, Dylan, a fantastic driver, clinical drive, really. Essentially, you led from the front, cleaned up in race 1, and you did a very, very, very well again on the restart for race 2. I guess, how much was it possibly playing in your mind when you saw the safety cars get called, when you kind of, got to finally got to a spot where you had a bit of breathing room?
Yeah, I knew after that first race, I knew how big the draft was. I knew I had to clear it early, otherwise I would have been caught up in some more incidents. So I just used a bit of, I guess you could call it tactics, and just went when I knew it would be awkward for the cars behind me. And it worked. It worked in race 1, excellent. But I think people were a bit more awake to it in race 2. I still got a little bit of a jump, but I think it worked out well.
Yeah, very good. And I guess, Dylan, obviously you probably got your eyes on the top spot for this season. I guess keeping an eye on the Australian Open Wheel Nationals as well. I guess, have you and the team, what's the go ahead, or what's the plan for this season for Velocity Sim Labs?
Yeah, I think as a team, we spoke about it in the off season. We just want to work on our consistency. Personally, I think that's what I've been struggling with. I think I've won enough races to win a championship. It's just those bad races I haven't executed on. And I think as a team, that's something we can work on. Obviously, we're going to be working on our speed a little bit. We've implemented the new system we've been working on in Motec as a worksheet, and just been going over that in the off season. And hopefully it pays out in the long run. And I guess we'll really be able to find out when we go to the Nationals and versus those other leagues and those other drivers at the top tier.
Well, it seems to have worked for you tonight, Dylan. So my advice: don't change the winning formula. Keep doing what you're doing, mate. Fantastic.
Yeah. I'll keep on trying. Keep on.
Well, mate, it was just a dominant performance as ever. You've only strengthened my belief that you can win this title this season. But I agree with Hutto. I hope that you just continue to tick those goals and just look ahead. And I mean, you've got a perfect setup this season to win. There's no Origin, so you don't have to mess around because of Origin. There's no Laguna Seca either. So
Laguna Seca still haunts me to this day. That
I know it
that
would.
corner, that left-hander off banked. Oh, I can't drive.
I feel bad because I actually picked it before the race. I thought if he's going to lose it, it'll be here, and it happened. So hopefully this season, none of those problems happen for you. Hopefully you can put that complete season ahead of you, because I mean, both me and Hutto agree. We think that you are the most deserving person who's not won a championship yet as a pro in this field, or out of the pros who've never won a title. We think that you are arguably the most deserving, and it's only a matter of time until you do it. And I think it will be this season that you can get it done, mate. So let us know. Help us get you and Velocity Sim Labs out on track. Anyone else you wish to give a shout out to as well? And for myself and Hutto, congratulations on your Grand Slam victory here tonight of pole position, race 1 win, and race 2 win as well for round 1.
Yeah, cheers. I just touching on what you said before, those previous winners from the last 3 seasons, they deserved it. They were fast, they were consistent. at the end of the day, just did a better job than me. Just like to thank Velocity SimLab, Haikoki Power Tools, Here to Race YouTube channel. Thanks to SRW for doing another season. It's great fun. We all enjoy it. All the boys on the team, you guys for broadcasting it. Race Control, all the guys behind the scenes that people don't see. And don't forget to check Velocity SimLab out on Facebook. One other thing, we're also looking to expand our team. So if anyone's watching and wants to jump on board, just shoot Velocity SimLab a message on Facebook and we'll get in touch.
Very good, mate. Well, best of luck for Coda next week. We'll see if you can go back to back. And for whatever reason, we don't get a chance to chat to you. Best of luck for the rest of the season ahead and your hopes to finally win a pro championship here in the Cooler Master Super Formula Championship.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate
it. Well, Hutto, what a way to start the season. What a way to kick things off. Dylan DeBono does the double. He gets the Grand Slam, pole position, race 1 win, fastest lap in race 1, race 2 win, fastest lap in race 2. He looks like the top-end contender at the moment, doesn't he?
Yeah, that was a very, very clinical performance from Dylan DeBono. But look, 1 round down, 8 to go. We're in for a hell of a season, Hamish.
Could we see another example this season of what happened in Season 2 where David Gallo could be having a bit of championship hangover happening on him?
No, I still think he's going to be thereabouts. Like, I think it was just a little bit unfortunate with that contact at turn 1. I think it was contact at turn 1. So look, unfortunate for him, but look, it's one race out of the one round out of the 9 that we've seen, and I have no doubt that he'll bounce back.
Well, you've had our predictions. Be sure to watch the rest of the season to see if they come to fruition. If you want to get notified for whenever we go racing this season, be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe, and the bell icon as well. We've got a massive rest of round 1 to come this week with GR86s tomorrow night out at Oran Park for their Australasian calendar. Friday night in the Legends World Challenge, we have Silverstone National Circuit. And then on Sunday for the Warren Brown Tools V8 Supercars Championship, we'll be bringing you Long Beach once again. Could be a chaotic, controversial run for the rest of round 1, but there's so much more action to come. And with 8 weeks to go in this championship, it looks to be Dylan DeBono's to lose. Hopefully he can put all the pieces together as we previously mentioned. But a big thank you has to go out to all of our series sponsors, including our title sponsors here in SRW. Warren Brown Tools for their continued support of the Tuesday Night Fiat Supercars Series, the Sunday Night Fiat Supercars Championship, as well as Cooler Master for their continued support of the Wednesday Night Super Formula Championship, and to Shannon's Insurance for their support on the Thursday Night GR86 Nationals, as well as all of our other series sponsors, NeuroPower, DSL Rail Services, Shunt Scenery, and Grim Industries, the home of the V8 Coffee Table, which can be seen on Prime Video's Top Gear Australia in all the news, interviews, and studio segments that they have running. But, ladies and gentlemen, this will bring an end to round number 1 this evening of Season 4 of 2024 for the Cooler Master Super Formula Championship. It's not round 6, it's round 1. Let's get that number corrected. I've been Hamish Munro, joined alongside by Brad Hudson once again. We'll see you guys next week for the Circuit of the Americas for the next round of the F1 Shadow Series, as well as round 2 of Season 4. But until then, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.
Amazing, I was clash heads again. This is like Chad Moston and Cam Waters, almost the same situation. Better contact going down to the hill. Sam Noble wants to sniff on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because tell you what, Bruce Tanak and Jamie Dyke just absolutely drove away from us.